everybody. Welcome to the live well here at Fish North Georgia this Tuesday night. We are so glad you guys could join us. Got a great episode in store for you guys. Hey, we're going to hang around the campfire and we're going to talk about brush pile fishing. I guess that's what we're talking about tonight, ain't it? It's not what we've been talking about, but I've been told I can't talk about that kind of stuff. So I want to make Clint uncomfortable tonight. I promise I'm not. So anyway, listen, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight.
Damn, Daddy.
Yeah, listen, damn, Daddy. So this is, I didn't say it first, so I can do that now. A lot going on here. Guys, let me tell you something. If you're ever in the area, you need to come up here and hang with us before a show. That's when the good stuff, the good juice, everybody's secrets come out and all that. So we didn't start without you guys. So anyway, hey, it's going to be a great episode. I got Clint in the house, of course, right there.
Howdy, fellers and fellettes.
Fellettes, good job. Mark, say your last name again.
Badham.
Now, Mark didn't want to be on the show tonight because he is a float and fly guy, but he was up here and he was just sitting back there. We had an empty seat, and I said, get your butt over here if you do nothing else than laugh at my jokes tonight. So that's his job tonight. So anyway, he's in the house. And of course, we got Alex back there in all his glory doing the board. So, hey, listen, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like, subscribe button, give me the thumbs up. And if you're one of the two guys who gives me a thumbs down every single episode, no matter what, I got words for you like that. I can't say it like that. I'll be good tonight. So let's go ahead and take care of our sponsors before I say anything to make anybody mad tonight. So let's do that. We always start out with our buddies at Sonar Pros, the best in the business, the official sonar installer of the live well, 770-530-4505. Trent and the gang, listen, I say it every week. If the pros take their boat somewhere, that ought to be something that tells you that this is where you need to take your boat. Take it elsewhere, that's fine, but you're going to end up taking it to Trent and letting them fix it. So why don't you just go ahead and take it to the best? And that's Trent Palmer and the guys over at Sonar Pros off of Highway 369. We appreciate those guys. And, of course, Kevin Underwood with Lip Sticker Fishing, Megalodon Spotted Bass. Call him, 678-459-8419 to book a trip. Kevin at lipstickerfishing.com. Check out his patreon.com/lipstickerfishing. And, guys, we're trying to get this schedule right, but I'm going to fish on one of Kevin's lives when I get back from Puerto Rico. He wanted me to do it next week, but I'm not going to be in town. But what better entertainment could you get than Kevin actually catching big spotted bass and yours truly doing the commentary right there? So anyway, Kevin, we love you. We appreciate you. And then the best rod sleeve on the market, Evolve Fishing. I saw, what's that guy's name that does it, social media from Luke?
Luke, yeah.
Yeah, Luke. So people ask, do they really float? So he took a rod this week, stuck it in there, and he just chunked it off the boat right there. They float. If you're going down the road down the lake and your rod flies off and you got an Evolve Fishing rod sleeve, you will get it back. So check them out at evolvefishing.com or here at Fish North Georgia. And then, of course, Richard Key and the Money Saver Lure Retriever, the best plug knocker, bar none, on the market. Goes through there like I ever tell you, like a World War II Japanese torpedo. That little booger flies through there. It's going to get your bait back. You don't want to lose money, and you won't with the Money Saver Lure Retriever. So we appreciate him. If you want to fish with a legend and you're on Lake Allatoona, Bill Payne's the man. Bill Payne's Guide Service, 706-280-2305. Seasonal smallmouth trips, and he does electronic trips as well. So one of the nicest human beings you will ever meet, and that's Mr. Bill Payne. We appreciate him. And if you like the young gun, Brooks Anderson, the prettiest red hair in all of fishing right there. Absolutely. Does he not?
Yeah.
He is. He's a good-looking young man. But check him out on YouTube, BrooksAndersonFishing.com. If you got a young angler, this is a guy you want to take him with right there. He loves having young anglers getting a start in their fishing career. Lake Lanier, spotted bass. Has he started doing anything on Hartwell?
He does occasional.
He does some occasional trips on Hartwell.
Yeah.
One of the good dudes in the business, and anything we can do to support Brooks Anderson, you should do it. And you know what his dad did today?
What he did?
He sent me an email. You know they got that big fishing trip on Gunnersville?
Yeah.
What is that tournament? You know what I'm talking about, where they get
the big bass or no?
Yes, where they get like MLF anglers, bass anglers. You got to qualify.
The ultimate tournament.
Ultimate tournament. He sent me an email and said he's got a place over there. We could go and do a podcast when that's going on from there. Cool. So got a great dad, good family. Brooks Anderson Fishing. Definitely check him out. All right, we got a new one tonight. New sponsor alert. I wish we had some sound effects. That's all we got right here. Rob Robleski. You guys have seen him on here a bunch of times. Fishes the NPFL, one of the good guys, one of the friends here at Fish North Georgia. He is guiding now. Big league charters in Knoxville, Georgia. Now,
Georgia?
Knoxville, Tennessee. Good Lord, he used to live in Blue Ridge. So, all right, let me tell you something about Rob. Absolutely fantastic guy. Well, we're going to work on his intro because he sent me an intro to tell everything he does. He says, I got to shorten it. So he went up to Chat GPT, and this is what Chat GPT said. And I can't rap and I can't read poetry, but this is going to describe Rob, okay? Big league charters, Knoxville's best. With Captain Rob, forget the rest. Bass are crappy, year-round bites. From Loudon's Edge to Chick's bright lights. Electronics dialed, skills refined. Tight lines ahead, your trip's designed. Book a trip, come chase the dream. Big league days on every stream. Is
I
that
feel like Christmas is tomorrow?
You feel like what?
I feel like Christmas is tomorrow.
Yeah,
We're
seriously,
reading poems.
poetry and all that. I said, I'm going to have some fun with that. Listen,
Scratch it.
scratch it. I told him, I said, I get to rap tonight.
Look at Ryan Hanks in here.
We need to do that. But listen, seriously, we're going to come up with him a really good intro and how to say that and everything. But Rob's one of the good guys. I've been fishing with him. You'll have an absolutely great time. He just moved up to Tennessee. He's learning all them lakes. Get up there and fish with him because I guarantee you'll learn something and have an absolute fantastic time. So welcome to the live well, Robert Blesky with Big League Charters out of Knoxville, Tennessee. And we got a lot of people watch us from Tennessee. A surprising amount. You guys need to go learn who Rob is, and you will have a good time. And, of course, we got our buddies, Fishers of Hope. Their mission is to glorify God, be servants of his word, to bring those in need to peace and hope that only he can bring. Tony Watkins and the group up there at those fishing tournaments for those in need. Follow them on Facebook. Okay, that's one page of, there's a lot of pages on Facebook. There's a few you need to be a part of, and Fishers of Hope is one of those. If you got a need or you want to help out, they're a nonprofit. Fishers of Hope Ministry at gmail.com. Check them out. And guys, listen, hey, right behind me, Turner Tire, Jasper, Georgia, 706-253-3339. Tires and alignment. They do boat trailer tires. They do that. They do trailer tires. Brock and the crew up there. It's a great local family-owned business. These are the kind of businesses, as well as all of our sponsors, you want to support. So if you're in the Jasper, Georgia area, even if you're not, take your car up there. You can go to a big chain. Hell with them. Take it to a local business.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. So, and then, of course, listen, if you want to get your business in some of the best in front of the best eyes and some of the most loyal fans out there, you can advertise right here. Email me, Danny at FNGO, and let us see what we can do to promote your business because we want to help you grow and get your products out there in front of people. And you can email me. We'll work up a package for you and get your name out there. This podcast is growing. When we pull up the comments here in a second, we got them from all over the country. So, hey, whatever we can do to help you is what we're going to do. So, yeah, it's good, Tony Collins. See Rob as a sponsor. I fished with him. He's a good time. So, a lot of you guys have already commented. Hey, good evening to all of you guys. If any of you are watching the Braves game, keep me updated on the score. You know how that works right here. And just put them on, turn them down, and listen to us. So, what's up, everybody? Now, put on Thad Moody Outdoors. Came here to listen to Bass talk and eat my milk and cookies. I just ran out of cookies. Let's go. Listen, cookies are not good for you. Oh, okay, guys. It's okay. Made more cookies. So I'm glad you got your cookie fix on. So we're sitting here tonight, and I'm thinking about what we haven't talked about this year so far. And listen to some of the guys coming in. Everybody's talking about brush pile fishing. And so we talk about it. Now, in times past, we've talked about guys fussing about brush piles. This is my brush pile. Good grief, D-backs are already 4-1. Thanks, Anthony, for just tearing down the show all of a sudden. They'll come back. Memphis, pull Memphis up right there above him. Got to fish with a meal on Friday, and this is such a fun time to fish Lanier. 100%. 100%. So right now, you can do a little bit of everything, but eventually, it's all going to center around brush piles.
Caught a freaking giant today. He caught a 513
spot.
Yeah. Freaking.
Did he say how he was doing it?
No.
Of course not, Emil. You know what Emil would say? If he had booked a trip or if he was on camera with the elites, I threw a Berkeley General.
Well, hell, that's the thing is like he says it so much, and a lot of the times he's not kidding. Like that's actually
I will say this. We talk about that all the time. Guys say, they'll throw out their sponsors baits, but Emil is one that actually fishes with that. Danny, you murked that. I never knew you could rap. Seriously, listen, Rob, I'm going to work you out a great intro, okay, like that, but I'm not the best poetic reader out there. But absolutely, you guys need to book a trip with Rob, and we're going to go out there and do some film work with him as well. Tony Collins, let's go ahead and jump on that because, like I said, we're talking about brush piles, and are folks putting out the brush piles like they used to? I would say yes, but given all the forward-facing sonar and things out there now, I don't think they're talking about it like they used to. No, but they still people putting out brush.
Well, the thing with putting out brush when, just take 10 years ago. So when forward-facing first started coming out 10 years ago, when people were putting out brush, it was still sneaky, right? Like you put it in a sneaky spot, the back of a pocket, a weird contour line, suspending brush piles were becoming a big thing because only you know where that dot was, and you could set a brush pile out in 180 foot of water and just have it suspend perfectly to where it's in 20.
Yeah.
And then you can go fish that pile and it's your pile. Well, now everywhere you drop a trolling motor on Lanier, you see a brush pile.
Right.
Forward facing.
Yeah.
And so being able to, that's where you really have to learn about fish management. How are you, like, did I just show up to this brush pile after somebody already hit it? Because if you did, they ain't gonna bite. And like, you can't pull up and just fish for the fish. Like, you can see the fish in the pile, they're floating, looking happy, they don't eat on the first cast. Lanier will teach you you're wasting your time if you keep casting at them. You're just going to bust them up more. You might ruin the fish for the rest of the day. Whereas, like, if those fish don't fire and you pick up and pull the trolling motor and you leave and you come back, they might fire when you come back.
I think that brush piles are being placed in the non-traditional locations now.
I thought you were just going to sit over there and laugh. You said you didn't want to talk.
Said anything funny yet.
Okay. You're right, but I think you're right.
With the techniques that we have, the equipment we have.
That's right.
That now we have more visibility to where the fish hang out other than where we thought they did. So now you go put brush piles more pseudo-located to where we know the fish are now. So they're not necessarily in the stereotype positions. So I still think they're out there.
Yeah, they're there.
New ones are being placed.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go out with their electronics and fish in where they've always fished. There's brush piles now in other places.
Well, because you got to figure out a way to hide that crap now.
Yeah.
Pull up Cranking and Yanking's first one. That damn Cajun, he's always got something funny to say. 10 years, dang, y'all been cheating for that long. Listen, Cranking, up here in North Georgia, they've been putting out brush piles for as long as I've been on.
He's talking about live scope because I said.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he don't like live scope. Yeah. You're right. Well, Cranking, listen, I know how you feel about it, big dog, and I get it. I get it right there. So, Far Dog's here from Southeast Oklahoma, waiting. Good Lord, pull him up.
Another one.
I feel so bad from him.
Dude,
waiting on tornado weather.
Come on, we'll take
you. Come down to Georgia, man. I mean, it's either raining or they got tornadoes in Oklahoma. Buddy, listen, stay safe. Praying for you guys and all that. Now, real quick, too, before we get into this, I meant to do this, Alex, from the start.
That's okay. We got more people now.
We got more people now. So good. We got some eyeballs on it. Real quick, we want to, and I don't want any of you guys to turn away and leave. I want you to listen to this. We've got a situation up here in North Georgia with a kayak angler that it's Ryan. Is it Vetters or Veters? Veters. Okay. Yeah. So he's got something going on medically with that. Alex is getting ready to tell you guys about it. And I want you guys to please pay attention for the next couple of minutes and listen, because this is very important. And one of the things we do here at Fish North Georgia, we are a community. We have built this community up. All you guys show up every Tuesday and Thursday night, and the Fish North Georgia group and everything. I will say this, anglers are some of the best people out there when it comes to helping others. So please, if you don't mind, we'll get back on the brush pile fishing, but take a few minutes of your time to listen to Alex about this situation, and let's see what we can do as a group, as a community to help out. So Alex, put the camera on you. I apologize for getting going, and I get excited, but the camera's yours, dog.
So I'm just going to read this off of my phone because I get pretty emotional when I talk about it. It's my good friend and my mentor for fishing and content was with me when I wrecked my truck on my way home from the Noe show. And it led them to discover a massive tumor in his chest. On April 14th, he had surgery to remove it, and he's been having complications ever since. He's been in the ICU for about 5 or 6 weeks. He's going to transition over to a rehab center to relearn how to speak, walk, eat, and just totally regain his mobility. Once he's recovered enough, he's going to undergo another surgery to remove a cancerous thyroid. Now, we over at Festive Water Paddle Sports are hosting a benefit tournament, CPR style, on Ryan's behalf. 100% of the proceeds will go directly to Ryan's family. They have a GoFundMe set up as well. If you can't fish, you can find that and donate there, or you can sign up and not fish at all. It doesn't matter. Just do whatever you can to help. I'd love to see the community show up and support this guy. He's done nothing but be good to me and my friends, and he's a phenomenal person. If you go on my Facebook page, there's a link to the Tourney X. We've got about 15 or 16 companies already that have stepped up and donated some pretty amazing prizes to be raffled off. We've got trophies going out, so you'll get something out of it. I know a lot of people are saying, I've had a couple people tell me that if it's a benefit, they ain't fishing it. So just please show up, show out, and let's show Ryan what we're capable of.
So, number one, I can hear it in your voice, what this guy means to you. I can hear it in your voice. Good dude. I want you to type in, do you have the link to the GoFundMe?
Yeah, I can
If you could put it in the comments. Now, listen, guys, this is a challenge from me to you. Anytime somebody in need in our fishing community has a problem, you guys have always stepped up. And so I am personally asking you, if you like the live well, you like what we do here, would you please, if you can find it in your heart, go to their GoFundMe, donate some money. If you can fish the tournament, go fish the tournament.
The entry fee is $40.
$40.
And we've got amazing raffles. Like the guys from Cast stepped up, and their prize pack is worth more than double your entry fee. So it's not for nothing.
Well, you tell me what you need from me, and I'll do it. And so, look, we have a lot of fun on this show. No doubt. We talk about a lot of information. But here is a specific need. Ryan Veters. And you know what? You hate to say it's a blessing to have a car wreck, but they found the tumor. And let me tell you guys something, and this is personal to me. My wife had thyroid cancer. Now, they'll say thyroid cancer isn't as bad as other cancers, but what you don't understand is the thyroid controls everything in your body. Once you take that thyroid out, you're going to be on medication to help regulate everything from the temperature of your body to whatever. Not only that, but he's got to go through rehabilitation and all that. So I am asking you, please, if you can, because Alex is in there tearing up right now. He's tearing up. That's how much he loves this guy. And I love Alex. I love Alex like a brother. Please donate to this if you can. $5, $10. If you're a dude sitting on 1,000, donate 1,000. I can tell you that when you give to a cause, it makes you a better person. It makes you feel good, but you don't realize how many people you're helping. Not only are you helping Ryan, but you're helping guys like Alex back here. Okay, because he's worried. And I'm about to tear up too.
So the link is too long for me to post in the comment section.
Where can we go? Go to your Facebook page.
I'm going to go post it in the Fish North Georgia group.
We'll post it. Okay, so you guys on Facebook, if you go post it, if you'll post it, you gonna do it right now?
Yeah.
Do it after the show. But whatever you do, actually, it's more important than the show. If you guys will go to the Fish North Georgia group page, check out that link, and let's help out. I think it's a kayak tournament, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so listen, guys in boats, this one ain't for you to fish, but it's a $40 entry fee. Throw $40 there. Give them $40. I mean, that is.
When is it?
Yeah.
It starts June 6th and runs through July 4th.
Yeah, because them kayak guys can do these month-long tournaments and all that. So we're going to make sure you guys, and we'll post the link too in the description of this video when we're done. If you guys that are listening later on Spotify or iTunes, hey, we love you guys too. This is one of these times where I'm personally asking you, if you like me, and I'm not even, I know Ryan, but I'm not close with him like Alex and all that is. But I'm close with Alex, and I'm close with a lot of guys in the kayak world. If you like me, I'm asking you as my friend to help support this guy. We have the platform. We have the reach. As many of you guys, please do it. Festive Waters, You can hit up Festive Waters too. If you want a kayak, they'll rent you a kayak. Hell, I got a kayak. I might go fish this thing.
Come on.
I'll suck at it, but I'll fish it. But from the bottom of our hearts here at Fish North Georgia to the Veeder family, the man has got a long route to go for that. But how about this? $40. If you can't fish it, I'm asking every one of you to donate $40. Donate an entry fee to that and go to Fish North Georgia's group page. I'll make sure I pin it to featured so everybody knows what it is. Make sure I do that after the show.
I will.
Okay. Well, you're a damn admin now. Pin that thing. I forgot I gave all you guys those privileges or whatever. If not, I'm gonna put it in the link. So if you guys can do that, if you got a kayak that somebody else can use, please do that. That's one of the cool things about our show. Guys come on here every week. We talk. We have a good time. We're one of the most laid back podcasts out there. But I will say this: we got one of the most loyal fan bases out there. So how much are you wanting to raise?
Let's see. They've got
What's the goal?
35 grand is the goal. They've got a little over 5,500 already.
Okay, guys,
Awesome.
let's break that 35K. Okay, let's break that 35K. He's a super dude, but let's break it. Let's break it.
And that's the biggest thing with the community, right? Is like we're all like-minded individuals that are bonded by fishing. It's one of the
That's right.
niche. You can't take any other sport and have a similar community that we have in the fishing community. So you're not just donating to a kayak angler or some guy you don't know. Like it's going back to the fishing community that all brought us together in the first place.
That's right. That's how I met you.
And then if I know 10 people and you know 10 people and you know 10 people and I share it to my story and you share it to your story and then we get 30 people all of a sudden just because one person chose to donate $40 and then all of a sudden that's 40 people or 30 people donating $40, like that goes a long way and gets us that goal a lot faster.
100%. That's what I was getting ready to say. If you would donate 40, I appreciate it. If you can donate 80, appreciate that too. But if you know people as well, ask them. Tell them, hey, listen, we got a guy, we got a family. We understand it's for Ryan, but we got a family. He got kids?
Yeah, he's got wife and 2 kids.
Wife and 2 kids. Guys, listen. With all the BS bullshit that goes on in this world, let's do something right for a change. And everybody out there, everybody you know, go beg them. Go beg them. Just say, hey, listen, I need $40. I need $40. And if they can only give 5, that's 5. Get 5. And let's help out the Veeder family. Let's help out the guys over at Festive Waters that are putting this on. Let's help out guys like Alex because seriously, Tony, we got a local kayak angler, Ryan Veeders that needs some help. That's right. Wu-Tang Fan 864. Let's effing go. That's what FNGO stands for. Please, our followers, help this out. And Alex asked, here's the thing, Alex, too. I want to let you know this. You asked in our group, we have a little Facebook Messenger group, if you could post this. Look at me. Don't ever ask me again. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that in love. Post that crap. Anytime we can help anybody, post that. What the date of the tournament, Corey Hamilton is one of the, listen, I love my kayak guys because they're weird as hell.
It's a month.
It's a month-long tournament. And you can do the catch weigh and all that. And here's another thing, too.
All public water nationwide.
All public water nationwide. If you guys will take whatever we're posting on Fish North Georgia group page, share it. Share it, share it, share it, share it.
Because this goes beyond Fish North Georgia. It get like
Yes.
if I've got buddies in Texas, California, all that stuff, and I share it to my social, and they happen to see it, and they're sharing it with their buddies in Texas, California. Like it snowballs. Like that's how you make the difference out here. It's like take the initiative, take the $40, make your difference, and then share it and get somebody else to as well.
Yeah.
And that's how differences get made for people's lives like this.
Tony Watkins, I'll send you a message tomorrow too, like that. Walton Doyle just left the hospital. He is doing good and in good spirits. That's awesome. But it's still, he's got a long road. Pull up Coleman Jones. Alex.
Thanks,
so
Coleman.
just downloaded, registered, and paid. My little cousin just got done with brain cancer, so I sympathize.
Thank you, man.
My dad died of lung cancer.
Mine as well.
Cancer sucks. My wife has had thyroid cancer. So 10 years, I've listened to that. Send me one too, Danny, and I'll donate as well.
I posted the GoFundMe in the Fish North Georgia group, guys. If you want to register for the tournament, you can just click on my profile. It's all public. 100% of my stuff is public. Anybody can look at it. You don't have to be my friend. And you can scroll down. There's
But
a
you
post
should
for Ryan.
Yeah, but you should be Alex's friend.
And the link is in the comments.
Yeah. So again, look, I know a lot of you guys might have tuned in to talk brush pile fishing, and we're going to talk brush pile fishing. But this is something a little bit more important.
It would cost you more than $40 to plant a brush pile, so you better dang donate.
Well, yeah, Michelle, I hope I say this right. Michelle Blystone, my dad, also died of lung cancer. Look, cancer touches everybody some way, somehow. I wish they'd cure that shit because it does a lot of harm. But listen, Ryan's going to beat this. I firmly believe that. Ryan's going to beat this, but his family, there's a lot. You said 2 kids?
Yeah, 2 teenagers.
2 teenagers. I don't care what side of the aisle you vote on. I don't care what you do, whether you fish, whether you like forward-facing sonar or not. I don't give a shit.
Ryan didn't like forward-facing.
He didn't like forward-facing sonar. But, hey, this, and also, too, has he got a Facebook page?
He does. He's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. He's out there.
Go out there and find it. Type his name in the comment.
His handle on social media is Fatty Yak.
Fatty Yak?
Yeah.
I don't know how guys come. He really ain't fat.
He's a big old boy.
He's healthy. But hey, listen, we're not into body shaming here, right there at Fish North Georgia. But listen, seriously, guys, please go help. You say $40 is really, that is basically 5 cups of coffee at Starbucks. For me,
it's a tank of gas for most people.
It's a tank of gas. For me, it's 5 cans of Copenhagen. You gotta put it in real world perspective. Just please do it. Okay, guys. David Raleigh, you can check it out. What's up, buddy? But seriously, I'm asking anybody that listens to this, let's go. We want to hit the $35,000. And hey, listen, if you're a rich man and you got $35,000, what better way to blow $35,000 than to help a fellow angler? Okay, so this is at least one time in the community that everybody can get together on something, and we can all agree on something. Justin Speece, my favorite Yankee. He said, pull that comment up. He's a big boy, towed his butt around the lake with my kayak when his motor went down. But listen, Justin, you ain't no skinny chicken yourself there, big dog. That's a lot, but seriously, guys, please, I'm begging you, please go help out Ryan Veters and his family, okay? And we'll keep an update on him.
Yeah.
We'll keep sharing it through our future podcasts and all that. But I remember when Beasley passed away, we raised that kind of money with that tournament. We helped the family out, and we can do it again. So, listen, Danny, we ain't fat shaming. Florida is slimming me down. That's only because that gravy is coming out of them pores from all that sweat down there, big dog. But anyway, okay. So anyway, after the show, one random act of senseless kindness can change the world. 100%. 100%. We love you guys, and I know you're going to do it. So $5, $40, $100, $200, whatever. Go do it, and then we will work on promoting the tournament.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be out of town, and you guys got control of the podcast the next couple episodes.
I'm a promoting son of a gun.
You are. You're as good as promoting as anybody. So let's do that. So please, guys, hey, FNGO, F and go, baby. Let's help them guys out. So,
thanks, Danny.
All right. We good with that?
Yeah.
You emotionally well now? I know you worry about your buddy.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, I love you, dude. Seriously. Don't ever ask me again if you can promote something like that on my show. Next time you do it, I'm gonna kick you in the nuts.
Okay.
All right. So you go wild on promoting this, because I want them to I want people to look at Fish North Georgia and say that we love the community we're creating as much as we love talking about fishing. Because at the end of the day, everybody that watches this, that listens to this, other than you two guys who give me a thumbs down on YouTube every episode, I love you too. I love everybody. I love what we created here. So please, please, please do that if you don't mind. Share it, ask, beg. Let's hit the 35K for this family. for the Veter family. Okay. And Alex, I appreciate you caring about a friend that much. And it makes me feel good, that you're willing to use our platform to help it.
Thank you for letting me.
Oh, 100%. But I will kick your ass if you ever ask me permission again. Okay. Because, seriously, if anybody, and that goes for you guys out in the comment section, you guys got a need, please. Justin Speech, by the end of the podcast, let's hit 10K on the GoFundMe and have 30 anglers on the tournament. Dude, I'd love it. I'd love it. But even if it's tomorrow, y'all are good peeps. Can I tell you, be honest with you? I've done enough stupid crap in my life and hurt enough people that I got to the point in my life where it's like, you know what? You got to change, Danny. And this platform that we got allows that. It allows that. And I'd like to go home and sleep well at night because of you guys out there that are willing to help. What are you laughing at?
I'm not going to say.
Huh? You know I'm not a good peep, or what is that?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Huh?
If you've done some stupid stuff in the past, it must be pretty bad. Because since I've known you, you've been pretty much stupid.
Oh, listen. Let me tell you something. I have my own like BC and AD. There's before Jesus Danny and after Jesus Danny. After Jesus Danny, still a little rough, but before Jesus Danny, you might not want to know. Cranking and yanking. I'm going to start a GoFundMe so I can buy out Garmin and shut down the scopers. Any takers? Maybe not tonight, cranking and yanking, but you know what? You can always dream on. You can always dream on. So I love you guys out there. Appreciate it, and please help us. Please help us with this. And if you own a tackle shop or something like that, you own a company, you own a restaurant, you want to give anything that can be donated or raffled off, I'm going to give some stuff. We'll do it. Hey, you know what? What if I donate a day on the water with me?
That's just a disservice. Disservice to the community.
All right.
You'd be paying people.
Yeah.
Pull this up. Pull up my buddy Alan Brooks. For guys that don't know, that's Mr. Serve IT. Danny, I haven't been able to listen in a while. Been so busy. First night back. In the spirit of FNGO and the Serve IT relationship, Serve IT will donate $2,500. Have someone call my office tomorrow.
Wow. That's awesome.
Alan, I love you, dude. You know I do. I will have somebody in touch with you.
That's incredible, man.
You are good people. You are good.
Well
You're just
done,
damn good people. Damn good people. I love it. People would be asking for refunds for Danny if he fished. Scratch fishing with punishment. What the hell, guys? I can catch a fish. But anyway, we'll do that. Alan, thank you. Hey, right there. Hey, look, the challenge has been laid out by Serve IT. Can you come close? Can you do whatever? I love it when God shows up. Bless you, brother. Hey, listen, that's awesome, guys. That is absolutely, I feel like, here's the thing. You see them Jerry Lewis used to do them telethons and stuff like that, and I used to look at them with whatever. They really do help people back in the day. And now we're doing this. We've had a little bit of a telethon this morning or this evening. So with that, you guys know what to do. Thank you, Alan. There were some other people that have already registered for the event, donated, whatever. Thank you, guys. Richie Rock and Roll. This is true, too. I know y'all helped me out a lot. I think FNGO finished out my GoFundMe after my wife passed. Much love. Much love to you, Richie Rock and Roll, and Van Halen rules. All right? So he knows that. So we got the best freaking listeners in the entire.
Really do.
We really do. Piss on all them other podcasts like that. Guys, just listen on them. Luke Duncan's a good guy. I like Luke Duncan. He's a good guy, but piss on the rest of them. We a fam here. We're the FNGO fam.
Yep.
Like that. So, guys, let's go ahead. We're going to get to talking about fishing. But, you know what? Let me think about it. I bet you we could hit up like Bill Payne, Kevin Underwood, and them that would donate a fishing trip and let guys bid on it, raise some money. We did that for Beasley.
Yeah.
We have connections. Let's see if we can pull out our connections and help this. Because like I said, I don't know Ryan personally, but I saw you about to cry when you read that.
I'm still about to cry.
Yeah. Well, hey, to Mr. Veters, and we're going to kick ass on this. So, all right, with that, let's talk about fishing. Now, we were talking about brush pile fishing. Now, here's the thing with me on brush pile fishing. We started off the conversation if people are still laying them down, and we know they are. But you brought up a good point, and I think, Clint, you would know this. You cannot go to a regular point anymore and drop brush. Going to be found too quick. So people are looking for different avenues to hide, to kind of give them that little brush pile, if not for nothing more than a week or two.
Yep.
Sea Spa just registered for the event. Excellent. Good job.
So if you know, brush pile fishing is basically warm water summertime fishing, right? If you know where the thermocline sets up on any lake, you can go find brush.
You know, there's always that fool that'd be me. I'd set a brush pile in 80 foot of water. That shit ain't gonna work.
He'd have it on his boat. He's pulling out of the boat ramp, and then it'd fall off the back of the boat. And he'd be like, well, I guess that's where I'm putting the brush
got
pile.
a brush pile right there. I know guys that own, like, they're stonemasons, or they own rock companies, do chimneys and stuff. They don't put up brush, but they take all them rocks after a job's done, and so they got a stone pile.
Yeah.
Very similar to a brush pile. But if you guys right now had to go drop a brush pile, Clint, you're on Lanier a lot.
Yep.
What would you be, oh, listen, can't hear the guy in the pink at all. So you got to scoot up and talk louder.
This is peach.
That's salmon.
Salmon right there. So you got to talk louder. So Thad's, them already said. Cane piles make the best piles, all that for sure. But if you had to go on Lanier tomorrow, where would you lay a brush pile? And we're going to talk about how to fish them here in a second. But where would you lay one so that you would at least have an advantage as an angler for whatever little limited amount of time you would have?
So with technology nowadays, not even just forward facing, but the biggest technology for brush pile fishing is mapping. So you're looking at contour lines, you're looking at how that sets up, you're thinking about the thermocline, you're thinking about when these fish go here and they move up and they pull up in the morning and then they push back out and start sitting on the brush piles. Like, what are the depths they're hitting? Well, summertime and a lake like Lanier, they can be set up on a brush pile in 20 foot, or they can be set up on a brush pile in 40 foot, or it can be even deeper than that. So it's like, really, you're trying to figure out, where do you want access to that brush pile? Where those fish going to be coming from and going? It's kind of like setting up a deer stand almost. You're kind of figuring out where you want to put your deer stand on their way from feeding on this point up on the shallows to where they're going to be backing off out of that harder bottom, setting up on a hard spot, things like that. You're kind of trying to catch them in the middle, kind of like what you would with the deer stand of, like, they're going down to the creek and they're going down and they're bedding over here. I want to set my deer stand up right in the middle to catch them on the way in between. Also, with a pile, they do use it as a home. Like, a lot of them will be resident fish that live in that brush pile. You'll have schools that stay in that brush pile year round. That's one thing that that was pretty crazy this past year, is like, it was 42-degree water and I was catching them out of brush piles.
Yeah.
So it's not just a summertime thing at all. Like, I've been catching them out of brush for the past year of just like, but I mean, summertime is iconic for brush pile fishing because you get the big schools, right? You'll look out at forward facing sonar and you'll have 25 Tic Tacs lined up in the top of that brush pile. And that's when you want to figure out how do you approach it. Angles are huge. There's all kinds of different things. So if I'm going to plant one on a Lanier right now, I'm looking anywhere between 10 and 30 foot. And I'm going to try to go figure out on a good contour line that's not super obvious. So all of your big main lake points that are getting hit anyway, not even just brush pile fishing, but people are going and throwing top water on main lake points.
There's a point.
So I would be looking more for the humps. So Lanier has a lot of humps that are just out in the middle of nowhere. Like, the contours on Lanier are pretty crazy to where you can have humps come up and it's only 20 foot on top of the hump. Those are pretty good right now. But as the summer goes on, some of them are 40 foot on the top of the hump and you can put them just on the edge. It all depends on how much distance you have in the column between the top of that brush pile.
If you put it too deep below the thermocline, you're not going to get a lot of activity in it, in my opinion. The oxygen concentration in the water is not good.
That makes sense once the thermocline sets up. I mean, that makes sense.
And then you can also combat that with Lanier's a generation lake. So they will generate current throughout the week. And so when you can get away with those deeper brush piles because you're getting more oxygen in the flow of that moving water. And so setting up closer to main lake to where it's going to get that generation more often, you have more oxygen density in the water that you can play to your advantage, to where people aren't going to go looking for brush piles in 40 foot of water all the time. But So how can you set that up to where fish will still relate to it, but it's not a complete no man's land putting it in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah. Pull up Mr. Hank, his comment. If there isn't enough money raised after the first tournament, you could do another with all boats. I will keep that in mind.
Yeah, let's do a Fish North Georgia tournament for them. That'd be pretty cool, like an actual boat tournament. So we got the Yak side with Festive Water, and then we got the Fish North Georgia side.
Will you get a permit? If I give you the money, will you get the permit?
I don't know how to do that, but we can figure it out.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out.
But the Corps ritared right now. They may not be giving.
Yeah, but listen, I'm on the email list now. I might be able to get a permit, so we'll do that. Listen, because I didn't blast them. I was very nice when they were on here. There's a reason to be nice to people. You make the connections. I see what I can do. So, interesting question. Pull up Sean Widows right there. Can you explain? And there was two. Michelle Blystone has that. Can you explain the Thermocline? He was going to mention the Thermocline, and Michelle Blystone says, "Can you explain the Thermocline for stupid people?" All right, you and I we're talking the same right here. So basically, one, you can go back and look at any podcast we did with Kevin Underwood back in the day with Thermocline. So in the summertime, it's called y'all correct me if I'm wrong because you're smarter. Stratification. There comes a point where the water at a certain depth above it has oxygen in it, below it doesn't have oxygen in it.
Has less.
So it's not as conducive to fish living there.
And the water is also denser at certain temperature ranges. The water is denser, so you actually get if you've got good enough electronics.
Yeah,
you can actually see
you can see it.
And what you're actually picking up is the density difference in the water.
Yeah, you can do that. So on Lanier, it generally sets up about 35 to 30 feet, maybe sometimes a little shallower.
It could be like 22.
It could be 20, 22. So basically in the heat of the summer, it really doesn't make much sense to fish below that because it's not water that is really good for the fish.
If you actually were to look at a National Geographic special with scuba divers on it and stuff, you can actually see there's footage on certain videos where you can actually see it. There's like a line in the water, and as the divers swim through it, it changes, and it's just plain as day.
Plain as day. When you was growing up, did you look at National Geographic just for the boobs? Come on, be honest.
Yeah, man.
I knew you would. Listen, that and the Sears catalog. That's all we had in the 80s. Clint, you're young. Y'all got it on everything. You just pull up your phone now.
I just like my mom's Rachel Ray magazine.
Rachel Ray. Rachel Ray?
Yeah, dude.
Victoria's
You like Rachel Ray?
I did. Yeah. Brunettes, come on, man.
Okay, all right, Rachel. She's kind of cute right there. But anyway, that's what a Thermocline is. In stupid people terms, there comes to a point where it makes no sense to fish below a certain point because the fish ain't going to be there. They're going to be at the Thermocline or above, pretty much. And it's generally July, August.
I mean, it's now.
They have a little bit now, maybe.
It's been such a mild spring and going into summer, like it is happening a little bit later, but I mean, you'll see it. And you get your electronics dialed at Sonar Pros, you'll see it. What?
Reed Coleman Jones's comment. Rachel Ray is the 40s in the mountain lady. That is an inside joke.
Oh.
I will get in touch with the mayor. Cranking and Yanking, it is a nationwide tournament. Tony Watkins says Fishers of Hope would love to help out. We appreciate that.
That's why you were saying not to interrupt. That's why the Thermocline changes every year.
It's does.
Not always going to be at 24 feet, 30 feet.
She was kind of hot in the earlier days, too. I'm sorry. We're on a Rachel Ray kick right now.
Sorry.
Do you really find Rachel Ray kind of hot?
Hell yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
She's a little flat-chested for you. My wife's going to go, Danny, I'm gonna go home. The bedroom light's gonna be on, and she's going. You should be sharing Jesus, and you're talking about
Daddy.
Damn, Daddy. But anyway, Warren Barnes. Pull up Warren Barnes' comment right there. 15 to 25 foot flats or depressions between humps in those same depths is where I have the most success. Plus, those are both sneaky places. Talking about fishing brush piles, but there are some very good videos on the Thermocline. I suggest you watch them, and eventually. as the weather cools in the fall, those temperatures, and a lot of it has to do with temperature too, the lake will flip. And that's what happens in the fall, early winter, November, December, when we talk about the lake flipping. And all of a sudden you got all that crap from the bottom, them leaves and everything will come up to the top. The water looks dirty. And that's a tough time to fish too, as well. So scratch fish and thermocline can be at different levels depending on where you're at on the lake, 100%. Cranking and yanking. Is he a low talker or does that mic need adjusting? Will you talk loud?
I'm
He's
choking on it now.
He's a soft talker. But Sean has a good point. When a thermocline says, well, I'm loud, I really probably need to back up about 20 feet. So you're okay. He brings up a good point. It does give you a target to fish at, the depth. Because if you go on a lake and on your electronics, you see that booger, like you said, showing up about 25 foot and you're throwing in 40 foot of water, you're wasting a lot of your time. Michelle, do we follow the barometric? And I know you meant barometric pressure. I ain't smart enough to do that. Some of these guys might. I do know guys. What is the old saying? We'll get back on brush piles. Like a rising barometer or something, a falling barometer or something. There is a saying.
I've always heard when there's a low pressure front coming in, fish are going to bite. High pressure, they're not.
Oh, that day after a front moves and you got the bluebird skies and all that stuff.
That
it
doesn't
sucks.
mean that they won't eat in high pressure. It just means they need a few days to stabilize.
That's right.
And then they will eat.
That's right, 100%. But cranking and yanking said she was hot in her earlier days. So there you go. Okay, so the Louisiana boys and you like Rachel Ray. But she can cook.
Exactly.
That's a plus.
Well, yeah.
Like she's okay to look at, but you're going to get fed well.
Mm-hmm.
That's important.
She's going to do it with them big brown eyes.
Damn, Daddy. So can you see the thermocline with the old that's an inside joke, guys. We'll have to tell you about it later. Can you see the thermocline with an old regular no scope, old time depth finder? You Louisiana person,
I could
right
find
there.
it on my Humminbird Helix 5 on my kayak back in the day. So
you can. It shows up.
Yeah.
Now
And if
listen,
you go to Sonar
hey,
Pros, it'll look better.
well, yeah, that's right. Go to Sonar Pro. But where he fishes in Louisiana, it ain't but like 8 foot deep everywhere he goes.
They're
Right there.
probably in that shallow water environment. The thermocline's probably not near as significant as it is in these island reservoirs.
Yeah. So that's true. That's true. These highland reservoirs we have up here get really deep, and so that's pretty easy. If you're a shallow water guy, you're fishing Okeechobee, anything like that. I don't think you deal with the thermocline like we do here on Lanier. Carter. With Carter's, they say it doesn't set. Some say it sets up. Some say it doesn't because they pump back and they're generating back and forth all the time.
They got that regulation late.
Got the regulation, so it doesn't have time to set up. But anyway, we ain't talking about thermocline here now. We're talking about brush piles. So let's see real quick in the comment section because Clint had to go pee and he's our expert on all this tonight. The Christmas tree people throw out the worst trees to use. They break down super quick. We see it every year. Mm-hmm. Guys get done with Christmas. A lot of guys collect Christmas trees. They go dump them out. And I know there's that one place on Allatoona, that little point that's got like 5,200 Christmas trees, and it's sitting in like 3 foot of water.
I like the trees that people drag off the bank. They lay down.
You mean the guys that go illegally cut the trees and drop them down?
Or even the ones that just fresh falling down. They just hook them up to the boat, drag them out.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a firm believer that, and this is just personal preference.
Sure it is.
Christmas trees stand vertical most of the time when the people sink them. They tie weights to the thickest part of the tree and drop it, and it kind of stands up.
Yeah. That's
crappy cover.
Like crappy stuff. Yeah, I agree.
Bass want stuff that's laying flat.
That's a good point. And you ever lit a Christmas tree on fire? My God, that is like that's the next best thing to gasoline if you want to burn your house down as a Christmas tree. Them Christmas trees can hold some big ones. We get it. Cranking and Yankee says my lake is a brush pile. So down there where he's at. So now here's my question, and Clint, while he's in there doing whatever he is in the bathroom, I'm gonna ask you guys in the comment section. In your opinion, what makes a good brush pile? Now, Farmer said he said something earlier like cane. Okay. What works better? Is it oak trees? Because pine trees to me seem like they there's not enough leaves. Or if anybody knows anything about paper company land, like I've got a hunting lease. I've got a hunting lease in Wilkes County, and when they plant a new section in planted pines, they will tell us that we as hunters are allowed to trim off all the branches 2/3 of the way up the tree, because they want that straight. They want no notch, the straight bark, all that when they cut them. So to me, a pine tree, for the most part, has all its branches at the top. Oak trees have a little bit, but what makes a good brush pile? So if you're going to go out there and lay one, you're not wasting your time. You good now?
Yeah.
Like I am just rambling here for a second.
Good.
Anthony Hampton says sweet gum trees are the best. I know when
Hardwoods.
that's Tony's. That's Tony's.
Yep.
I know when fishing lips, Cranking and Yanking made a good point. We talked about Rachel Ray, and then you went to the bathroom. Any correlation?
Oh God! I'm sorry, I did not. I was.
And then my next comment was that's kind of quick. Hey, take care of your business, whatever it is.
It was the Thanksgiving recipe, sweet potato pie. That's what.
Oh, I don't like sweet potatoes. I really don't.
Location makes a big difference.
Location makes a big difference. But like Tony said, when he was fishing with Kevin Underwood at Lipsticker Fishing, he advised to look out for hardwood timber. So he's going to say oak. Warren Barnes says sweet gum and dogwood. Thad Moody says a fallen oak tree with a thick trunk that lays at a 45-degree angle is great here in Mississippi.
Fun fact.
Thad
is a fisheries biologist.
Damn, I didn't know he was in Mississippi.
Yeah.
But that kind of goes with what I said. It's not a vertical tree.
Not a vertical tree. Yeah, for sure.
Like a Christmas tree, most of those, they stand up vertical.
All right, so Ron Pendergrass says willow trees are the best, or hardwood trees. Clint's thinking about yams. I understand that. Sweet gum and dogwood. So, all right, so Rachel Ray, baby.
So Clint, what's your opinion?
What's your thought
on a fresh tree?
What makes
that
it
still has green leaves on it?
So I think a fresh tree is
It's my
great.
turn. Talk.
And a fresh tree is great in 20 is in great in like 20 foot or less. So like when you're closer to the bank, I think a fresh tree is great, especially if you got a fresh laydown that's still got leaves on it. Out in the middle, I haven't seen as much good stuff off of a fresh brush out when you get deeper than 30, 40 foot. I feel like those hardwoods that like are out there and have been out there and that are just getting seasoned, I feel like those hold more fish when you have just I think the brush does better out there. I think it just holds a better fish population. It holds those other ones. But like when you have a fresh tree, all those bluegill rush to it, the bait fish rush to it. I think it lights up when it's in that shallower water over there. But
Clint, you mentioned positioning earlier.
Yep.
How do you feel about sitting and casting your shadow over where you're fishing?
So that's a big thing in the summertime. Sometimes you need to look down, because especially in the summertime, we got these long days. So you're fishing these brush piles for a good amount of time. I mean, you can be fishing them from 9 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. Like that's a long window to be fishing these piles. And you can wonder, why is these fish are acting weird at 60 foot if I get the boat within 60 foot, but these are acting weird if like out to like 70 or 80. So you have to look at what your shadow is doing. Like I've been on a lot of boats flying a drone, and it's crazy how I can look down and see that shadow is being cast at least 40 foot off the front of the trolling motor. So if you're getting too close to those brush piles, you can be casting a shadow over it, and that enhances the boat presence even more, and you're not going to get those fish to bite as easily. So pay attention to boat positioning. Where's your shadow going? So I always assume, no matter what point it is in the day, that my shadow is being cast at least 40, 50 foot off the front end of the boat. So you want to set up, pay attention to where the sun's at, think about where it's at, think about the wind.
So do you not think sometimes we overthink that stuff? I mean, when we say the shadow, I get it. It definitely plays a part sometimes, but you're assuming there's no clouds in the sky. If there's clouds, there's shadows coming and going all day long.
Well, you looking at me, I have no earthly idea.
Right? So
I mean,
some of that stuff, I don't disagree. Sometimes I think we overthink some of it, and we make the fish way smarter than we think they are. But
I don't know.
I think we can definitely overthink things, but in my head, it's like I want the best chance possible to make that fish bite. These fish are only getting harder to get to bite. Like I've done a lot of different sneaky little tricks to try to eliminate the boat presence. Every time I get up from the console of the boat, I'm disabling my sonar on the console, like trying to reduce the amount of boat presence. I'm throwing my boat into gear so my prop doesn't spin. So when you get in fisheries with current or you're dealing with a lot of wind and your prop spinning, you just got a beacon of stainless steel shining light. And if that boat or if that fish is coming up following a minnow and you just got a beacon of shining light 20 foot back behind where your bait's being presented, then like I feel like it's just that one extra thing. If you're taking that extra time to do those little things, that can help you ultimately get a couple more bites in a day. Yes, we overthink things like that, but I think it's also some of the difference makers. Spending time in the boat with these elite guys, like they're doing the little adjustments. Like, yeah, if you're overthinking it, okay, yeah. But a lot of the guys that are on the elites and the best of the best, they are superstitious about certain things. They're thinking that all these little factors play into their game. And how can you have that advantage over, you have a brush pile get fished by 5 different anglers, and the one that presented the least amount of boat presence is typically the one that gets bit, especially if he pulls up on the school first. So having those advantages, put those things in your pocket, thinking about what are the things that we actually do to get, like, establish that boat presence. Like, boat presence is a big deal. You have 20 foot of 4,000-pound boat sitting there floating, splashing in the water. You got guys stomping around. Like, boat presence and how you present yourself to present that bait, you want it to seem as natural as possible. And yes, they have boats over them all the time. They're pinging a sonar. They're having wake boats. They're having yachts. They're having pontoons. They're having Timmy jumping in the water doing a cannonball. Like, there's everything going on in the lake. Yes, they get used to it, but I don't care how used to it they are. I don't want them to know I'm there.
Yeah. All right. So, like, I come back in on this conversation because I was in there trying to picture Rachel Ray, and it didn't work for me. It just didn't work for me. So I'm back now, and I'm
back to Farrah Fawcett, huh?
Farrah Fawcett was cute, but Kathy Ireland, that was the one. So, couple things I noticed in the comment section. So, first, Michelle Blystone asked about, is that where willow blades get their name? No, I have no idea why they're named willow blades, but I don't think it's because of the willow brush piles that we put out. Now, you were talking about, and I'm trying to catch up. So you're talking about shadows and all that stuff. But pull up Sean Widow's comment right there. And guys, again, if we missed your question or comment, type it again. We'll catch up. We're slow, but we do our best. So if it's sunny and then clouds roll through, does that spook fish? Because that's also a shadow.
That's kind of what I was saying. It's just we're assuming with Clint's comment, not saying he's wrong. It's just opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the boat freaks them out if it's a bluebird sky and that's the only shadow that shows up.
Yeah.
But if there's clouds coming over all day long, it goes from shadow to bright consistently. And I think that's kind of what that guy was saying, right?
Yeah.
So does that spook the fish? That's where I'm saying that we overthink that a little bit.
Pull up Thad Moody's, since now that I know he's a biologist. Pull up his last comment. He agrees and this is a biologist now. We ain't gonna hold it against him that he's from Mississippi, but he's a biologist. I like you, Thad. Appreciate you joining us. Agree 100% that shadow and even movement of casting can spook fish. Now, I tell you, in the trout world, you come up on a stream, you cast a shadow across one of them trout, you're screwed because they think it's a hawk or something. I know it's a different world, but it is interesting. What both of you guys, I get what you're saying. I'm listening to the conversation, and I get it 100%.
And think about when fish come up schooling beside the boat and you cast into them, your chances are pretty low at catching one versus if you hit them at 100 feet when they come up schooling, like, because you're just that much less presence there.
Yeah, no, I get it 100%. Pull up Tony. And again, guys, I think I missed a few comments. Type them again. I'll catch up. When fishing brush, do you sit deep and cast shallow or sit shallow and cast deep? I've heard it's better to pull fish shallow. Now, you're on Lanier, these kind of lakes, a lot more than the rest of us. Mm-hmm. What's your thought on that question right there?
It really depends on the pile and where the contours are set up. So, like, if a lot of the times I will pull up shallower just because I feel like it makes more sense for my boat to be in a shallow position, casting out and pulling them up shallow, because the more uphill you're making them run, they're fat. They don't want to keep running uphill and running uphill and running uphill. So
I don't.
So if you're pulling a school out deeper, the entire school's going to pull. Whereas he's got a point. Like if you're trying to pull them shallow, they're going to get distracted. There's a lot of distraction points on the way up shallow. There's stumps, or rock, whatever. And not the entire school will pull as much. So I would say 90% of the time I'm setting up on the shallow side.
Okay. You guys that have a question out there right now, going to take a little bit of a break because we got to do our question of the night. And I got the question. I haven't told you, but you'll know the answers. All right. And so I'm going to give a money saver lure retriever. In fact, I'm going to give this orange one right here to whoever answers this correctly. And again, Alex is going to have to watch the responses real quick for the right answer. And then we'll jump back on your guys' questions. Great conversation going on. So let's pull up Mr. Allen and his buddy Serve IT right there. Serve IT. Guys, if you got a company, big or small, and you're looking for a complete 100% all-inclusive IT solution, Serve IT is the company for you. American-based, headquartered right here out of Kennesaw, Georgia. They got the absolute best I have ever seen as far as their process. They got it printed on their walls in there from start to finish to take care of your company. Again, if you got a small company, you still got IT needs. Okay, so check out Serve IT and just see if they're a right fit for you. One of the things that they really, really stress is customer service. And you guys know how you try. I mean, good Lord, if you try to call your electric company or your phone company, all that, and you get Tom, who you know his real name ain't Tom, trying to help you out. You know what bad customer service is. You're not going to get that with Serve IT. So definitely go to serveit.com, check them out, see if it's right for your business. And if you are looking for a career change and you got the right customer service attitude, you're good with talking with people, even if you don't have IT experience, you might be right for them to train you. Go to serveit.com, check out their career section on their website. And again, guys, Serve IT stepped up tonight right there. Alan and all the guys, they always step up. Great company. We love them, support them. One of these days, Fish North Georgia is going to be big enough, and I'm going to hire Alan and the guys to do my IT as well.
He's a good golfer too, by the way.
He's a golfer?
Yeah.
Alan's probably good at everything he does right there. So he's just one of those guys. Now, here's the question. 2 answers. Please do not put one answer in the comment because you're only doing yourself a disservice and you're helping out everybody else. But you guys got your keyboards ready because somebody's going to answer this really fast. Really fast. Are you ready? Who's the angler we're raising money for and what is our total goal that we want to reach? I'll say it again. Who is the angler that we're trying to raise money for and what is the total goal that we're trying to meet? If we go above it, that's great. But what's the total goal and who is the angler? First person in the comment section that gets it, I'm going to send you a orange money saver lure retriever right there. So somebody's going to get it real quick. So
they got to spell it right.
Yep.
Who got it first? Thad Moody?
No, not yet.
Yeah, because that
he still ain't got the name ain't right.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's close enough, ain't it? Huh?
No, it's got to be his name.
All right, so listen. All right, so cranking and yanking. Sean Widows.
Sean, you ain't spelling it right.
You ain't spelling it right.
Farmer ain't
spelling it right. You know what, though?
Bunch of rednecks.
I'm in a given mood.
They either got fat fingers or they can't type.
So I'm in a given mood tonight. The correct answer is $35,000 and Ryan Vetters. But they were going off his handle.
Yeah, Fatty Yak.
Fat? Is it Fatty or Fat?
Anthony's got it. Fatty Yak.
Yeah, but I don't like Anthony.
And Sean.
I'm just kidding, Anthony. I'm just kidding, Anthony.
There's your first 2 that are actually correct.
Okay, so I'm going to send Sean one, and I'm going to send Thad Moody one. Fatty Yakker's close enough in my book.
Okay.
So did the orange ones work better than the blue ones?
I'll send one of them a pink one. At this point, if you're trying to get your lure back, who gives a shit what color it is, right? So, all right. So Sean and who was the other one?
Thad.
Thad.
Moody.
You guys on Facebook, send me a messenger to Danny Pruitt, and I will give me your address, and I'm gonna send you 2 guys one of the each a money saver lure retriever, okay? And the rest of you guys, you were close. Farmer, it's not Verter, Ryan Beater, but anyway, you know what? I'm gonna give him a. We'll do 2 prizes tonight. And Kevin ain't here, and he can't say nothing about it, so I can do it. He ain't gonna. Kevin's a stickler on that crap.
He is.
So Sean Whittle says it auto-corrected. Yeah, Sean, it auto-correct. That's my excuse. I was on delay answers before I heard the question. So sorry, man. That's why. So anyway, but like it's fat. What is it? What is this? It's fat angler?
Fatty yak.
Fatty yak.
Fatty yak.
Because Fatty got put in the comment section a lot. Guys, look, he ain't that fat. Father Time was on earlier, Anthony. I missed him. I didn't see him right there. So Jim says, I'll take the pink one. Don't matter to me as long as it works. It works. All right. So here's my next question. So you guys hit me on Facebook with your address. I'll send you those out. If you don't get them, it'll probably go out after I get back from Puerto Rico. I know, tough life. I'm going to be in Puerto Rico next couple of days. But the guys here, the show is going to go on. So they're going to handle the next 3 shows. No worries, Clint's giving the tips right there. There you go, right there. So that's Ken and all that. Here's my next question. And you guys comment in the comment section. Okay. What are you looking for in a good brush pile? Because we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about how the fish set up and then how we attack them. But what are you looking for when you pull up and you see a brush pile? You can answer this. Alex, you're a dock light fisherman kayak guy. You don't know.
I try to fish brush, but I just don't know how to find the right brush, so I'm listening.
100%. Yeah. Same way. What are you looking for?
So the biggest thing with finding brush is finding your milk run of brush, right? So like you have good piles, you got bad piles, you got medium piles. You got piles that are good at 8:59 p.m. and piles that are good at 8:58 p.m. And you can fish them both back to back. And if you reverse that, they ain't gonna be good. But if you hit it right, they can be good. So
what makes it good?
What I'm saying, what makes a brush pile good is the availability of your depth, your water column, your forage, how fresh is the brush pile. So you can't really tell all this stuff, right? Unless you planted it yourself, you can't really tell. So what you do is you pull up and you start looking at these brush piles, whether you're just mapping on side scan, looking for piles. What you're going to have to do if you don't have forward facing sonar, you're going to go to every point on linear. You're going to side scan. You're going to mark a brush pile. Hopefully you got a GPS up front to where you can line up on that dot and cast that dot. So when you're fishing like that, it's all about just fishing the pile and seeing how it works. Now, if you have forward facing, that's when you got a lot more details. You have a lot more feedback. You're a lot more efficient with fishing brush piles. So as you go around the lake marking brush piles, you'll see one that's little, you'll see one that's thick, you'll see one that's hardwood, one that's a pine, one that's a Christmas tree, cane piles. There's so many different piles, right? So the best way to figure out which one's holding fish, you want a big base. A lot of the times you want the bigger the tree, the more fish it's willing to hold. And then you also want the branches. Like, does it have just a couple spindles up off the top, or does it have big wide branches? Is it a big laid down tree that just has branches so big they come up? Those are pretty good, especially the deeper ones. When you have like a big 80-foot oak tree out there in 40 foot of water and it's laid down, but it's got all the branches coming up. So you're looking at how those fish are set up. So when I'm pulling up on a brush pile, let's say I side scan one, I mapped it, I marked it, and I'm casting to it. You're trying to figure out where are those fish set up in that brush pile. So if you don't have forward facing sonar, the best approach to fishing a brush pile. So I pull up on a point, I marked it on side scan, I idled back out, I set up on it, I'm 100 foot away from my dot on my map. First thing I'm going to sling at it is a topwater. Mm-hmm. So you want to start, if you don't have forward facing and you can't see how those fish are set up, the first thing you want to start out is a topwater, because if those fish are sitting up high, they're active, they're ready to bite, the first bait they're going to eat is a topwater as it comes over the top of them. So back before forward facing, that's what a lot of us would just mark a bunch of piles, would go throw topwater over it, 2 casts, roll, right? Well, now we can be more efficient with forward facing sonar and see how those fish are set up. So if I sling a topwater over there, don't get bit, then that's what I'm going to pick up, either a fluke and sink it down a little bit and get a little bit deeper into that brush pile, because you could have that, it could be 20 foot below the surface and they're not going to come up that extra 20 foot off the top of the pile to eat your topwater bait, or they're pressured, they've been hit. So if you sink that fluke down, count it down 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then work it through the pile, see if you get bit. If you don't get bit on that, then that's when I'm going to like a worm, a jig, a drop shot, something along those lines, and I'm going to try that rotation. Now, once I figure out what I can get bit on, whether it's that top water, it's that drop shot, or it's that fluke, then you can go replicate that when you find more piles. So typically, if you find them set up in this creek arm and they're set up high and you catch one on top, you can go run to another pile across the point, across like another island on the other side of the saddle, other side of the hump, and then they should be set up similar. Now, with forward-facing sonar, this all gets a lot easier, right? So you're not, instead of burning all this gas and going all over the place, you can start seeing how these fish are set up. So my 3 rods I'm going to have on the deck, I saw Coleman asked about, like, what's your approach? I'm going to have probably a drop shot or a Nico rig. So that would be one of my rods is either drop shot or a Nico. And then I'm going to have a fluke and I'm going to have a top water. So when I pull up to that pile and I scan it on forward facing sonar and I look out, the fish are going to be set up one of 3 ways. They're either going to be set up in the very top of the brush pile, floating about, all happy, sitting up top. That is typically a pile that hasn't been pressured that day or at that time of day.
Because they're up.
That's the ideal position you want your fish in to get a bite on a brush pile, is in the top of that tree, above the tree, around the tree. And you want your fish.
If they're sitting up there like Clint's talking about, they're out there on purpose looking. When they're down in the brush, they've either been beat on or something. Not saying you can't catch them, but they're hunkered down like, I'm tired of getting my butt kicked.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that position is huge. Another thing is the spacing in the fish. So if that school, you look at that brush pile and you got fish floating everywhere, here and there, space in between them, they're floating around, foaming around, swimming around. That's a happy brush pile. That's a brush pile I'm about to get bit on, and I'm going to start laughing because it's going to be so much fun. Now, if they're a little bit tighter together, you have that school tighter, that means they're not quite as happy, right? It's still good that they're in the top of the brush pile, so you can still catch them on a top water or a fluke, but they're not going to be as apt to all come up foaming at the bit for your top water. Now, so that's one of the positions, top of the tree, right? The next position, you got them all sucked in, but they're kind of medium to the top, like in that medium, like middle of the column part of that tree to the top of the tree, and they're kind of sucked in. Really hard to get those fish to eat a top water and come up out of that pile unless they are fired up, currents running, a big old wake went through and stirred up some bait, or there's bait present in the area that they might be fixing to feed on and haven't seen that bait come by the pile. That's when I'm going to be sinking down a fluke, or that's when I'm going to start to switch over to the worm bottom presentation. So the third presentation that you see the fish in is they are just sucked into that pile. They're sitting on the bottom on the stump. They're just sucked all the way in. So if I pull up on a pile and I see that, the first thing I'm throwing is like a drop shot or a Nico rig, because I'm like, they're not going to come up for top water. They're not going to come up for a fluke. Maybe I can get a bite on this. And so a lot of it depends on that presentation. So you slide a lighter drop shot in and it goes down the tree. You want to see if those fish in the middle are following it down and how they're following it down. If they are bum rushing, following that thing down, and then they get to the bottom and they don't eat, then that's when you need to up your weight a little bit. You need to make them work for it a little harder. You don't want it. They're seeing it too good. They're slowly following it down, or that Nico rig might be a little too light. Maybe switch to a shaky head, a little bit heavier of a shaky head or something like that to get down to the bottom, because spotted bass react. They're aggressive fish. They really want that reaction bite. So if those fish are in the toughest position possible, which would be sucked into that pile, that's when you start playing with your weights, trying to get a little bit heavier. Sometimes I'll go up to a half ounce on a shaky head, throwing a shaky head or
you want it to go by fast.
Yeah, you want it to blow past them.
Okay.
Reaction bite.
Yep.
Reaction bite.
Give them that reaction bite. And then you can also, there's a bunch of different other ways you can approach this. So instead of casting like with a fluke or a top water, I'm always trying to cast as far past that brush pile as I can. You want it to seem natural. Like you don't want all of a sudden a bait fish just landed right on the tippy top of that brush pile, because then they don't have time to hear it, see it, and feel like it's natural enough to take that opportunity to come up and eat it. So I'm always trying to bomb that OG or whatever top water I'm throwing as far out past that brush pile and work it into the pile, just how you would on a dock. You don't want to cast to just the tip of the dock. You want to skip up under that dock and give it the best opportunity to get bit. So it's structure. Like, you want to catch these fish by surprise, make them think that they have the upper hand on the bait that's being presented in that pile. If they're being super finicky and they go down on it, they're sitting there staring at it and they're not eating it, that's when you have to start being like, okay, maybe they're not in the mood. There's so many different like nuances to it, but you have to kind of go through this trial and error milk run process.
Yes.
When the AquaView camera first came out, of course I had to buy one.
Sure you did.
Right. So I would fish over some brush piles. I like drop shotting too. And I couldn't get them to eat. Drop the AquaView down there. Lanier, it works great. I'm sure it works on any lake that's got, when they're generating significant current. Drop your AquaView down there. They're all facing the same direction.
Into the current?
Into the current. So if you're casting sideways to the current, you don't get the reaction you would, is the natural thing of bait coming down with the current to the brush pile. So if you can find a brush pile that is in the current,
right,
make sure you cast as if it was coming with the current.
Now that's a good point. Now I've noticed, so like you got these old timers like cranking and yanking up there that don't like the forward facing. And then of course I'm just playing with you, cranking. I love you coming in here. Please don't stop coming. I love seeing your name every episode. And you got Sean. What about us poor people with no live scope? I think what he just said though kind of plays into that. So if you don't have live scope, you find a brush pile and maybe you can mark fish on 2D or whatever. Generally though, if you're marking it on 2D, you're over the top of the brush at that point. Because a lot of guys with forward facing sit off the brush. You know, am I correct in that, Clint? You sit off the brush a good bit.
If you got your side scan set up good enough, you can see where they're sitting up over the
You can do that
too.
brush. Okay. So I would think for those without forward facing sonar, the first thing you guys, and correct me if I say anything wrong, you're going to go and you're going to say, okay, I got a brush pile out 30, 40 feet in front of the boat. You're going to try top water first. You're going to work that top water. Nothing's blowing up.
Yep.
Then again, we're talking about people with no live scope. Then you might try a jerk bait or some underspin or something in the upper third of the water column, a fluke or something like that. And if you're not getting bit, then at that point you're going down into the brush.
Yep.
Is that? Am I correct
100%.
in that?
Yep.
Now let me ask you this.
But I'm going to do.
You go ahead.
Same thing, but I'm going to do it if I know Lanier, when they're pulling water. The buoys, some of the buoys, the damn things will be leaned over where there's so much current going through the lake. You know which direction the current's moving.
Right. So you want to make sure
I want to throw up current and bring it back. And the fish are going to be looking to see the stuff coming towards them. If it comes over the back of their head, doesn't have the same impact.
Okay, that's a good point. 100%. That's a very good point. Now, all wacky. If they don't hit that, they ain't hit anything June bug. Cranking and yanking, 100%. KP says the current tip and fish positioning is wisdom. So you ain't as dumb as you look.
I can't be.
Now, Don Holiday, listen, Don Holiday, if you're still watching, I know you mentioned the float and fly. We are going to have this gentleman on to do a float and fly episode, but we're going to do that more towards the wintertime because that's when it is.
Yeah, everybody's going to forget about it.
Everybody forget about it. So we're going to do that episode. This man out here with a float and fly closer to that time. So it is coming. I know you like that and you want to learn about it. We're going to do that. But Ken is my, he's my buddy that I always say, Mr. Resting Bitch Face and all that. He acts like he's moody now. But if Ken Pruitt says that's wisdom, then you impressed him with that tip, which is good.
I see Mike Geiger on there.
Yeah.
He used to go to Dale Hollow with us back.
Dale Hollow back in the day. Let me pull up Hanks real quick. Can I try to answer everything? Off topic, but how can I get your name out there best to fish in college? I'm going to tell you this. First of all, fish the tournaments. Although I assume you're in high school. You got to fish the tournaments and all that. I will tell you this. Your social media plays a lot into that. your social media, whether you're posting content, whether you're out there fishing, you'd be surprised at how many college coaches will look at your social media. And to be honest, make sure it's positive. Make sure it's positive social media and get your name out there. And you know what? Reach out to college coaches, email them. Say, hey, I'm so-and-so. I'm fishing this. I'd like to get on your radar. You got to put yourself on the radar. You got to put out there. So you got to do the work. There are college. It's just like in any sport. There are college coaches that are sitting out there looking. But think about how many guys are trying to do the same thing you're doing. You got to take the time and put the work in and put yourself out there. That's the best tip I can say. But reach out there and email them. Find the coach of a particular school. Say, hey, what are you looking for? I do this, X, Y, and Z. And I think you'll find that a lot of them will email you back and say, hey, listen, if you want to fish at Montevello, that's one of the big schools.
Yep.
If you want to fish at Montevello, here's the criteria. And you might not meet that. So you may have to up your game to be Montevello or another school, or you can find a JUCO. There's just 100 things, but you got to do the work and put your name out there. You mentioned something earlier about the way the fish set up and all that. If you pull up and you see the fish down in the pile, is that one? Because we talked to Emil and all them guys. You know, you talk to your elite anglers and all your tournament fishermen on Lanier that run 80 spots in a given day. They'll run up, hit it, scan, boom, boom, boom. That's not what I'm looking for. Go to the next one.
Yep.
If you pull up in a tournament situation, if you're fun fishing, totally different. But in a tournament situation, if you pull up, you scan a brush pile and they're all sitting deep. Is that a brush pile that you're willing to spend some time on, or you're like, nah, I'm going to the next one?
A lot of times you don't even make the cast
because they're down in it.
Yep.
And like you said, they're pressured.
High.
If you see them and they're sitting up high, upper third of the brush pile or above it,
yep,
that's a fish that you're going to do.
And the biggest thing too, like you see these guys, especially in these summertime tournaments, night tournaments, all this stuff. You see the guys that are always catching them. You're like, how are they always catching them? It's like it's a numbers game, right? So the more time you spend, let's say every time you go out on Lanier for the next 3 months or the rest of the summer, if you spend 1 hour just looking for brush piles, scanning around with your 2D or your side scan, your live scope, whatever you got on your boat, your man optics, if you're just in a kayak and looking over the side, like if you scan around enough and you spend an hour just looking every time you go out, you're going to start building this Rolodex of waypoints. So you're going to get this Rolodex to where you can pull into 6 Mile and you know I've got 38 brush piles in 6 Mile. And if that's where I think they're at, and I pull into there and I start getting bit on this one on the mouth and this one at the mouth of the creek, and then I'll go, if that's the deal, then you can replicate that pattern so much faster because, okay, they're set up more on the at the mouth of the creek on these piles in 25 foot of water. Then you can be like, well, hey, I marked 5 more piles that are just like that up in Big Creek. I'm going to go over and try to hit those too. And a lot of times that's how you develop a pattern. Like just because you have live scope and can see the mood of the fish doesn't mean you're still going to win the tournament. Like just because you can see them doesn't mean you're still going to go win that tournament.
That's how some of the better fishermen win tournaments when it's the grinder tournament. They'll go to a brush pile. They don't see the fish that are necessarily on top of the trees looking to eat. They just see them in the tree and they know I can probably sit here and catch 5.
For sure.
Right.
But I'm talking about idiots like me, which is what you're saying, Clint.
Well,
right?
But that's the
a
thing
good
is,
point.
like, you want to catch the most aggressive fish, like especially summertime, their metabolism's fast. You want to catch the most aggressive fish.
Crank it and yank it, insert eye roll here. Hey,
I'm trying to give you both sides of it. Man.
He did crank it. He did say he did. Didn't you say side scan and stuff like that? He's trying.
Use your man optics.
He's trying.
Come on.
Clint's
trying.
Clint said a little while ago, you create your own Rolodex.
Yeah.
I guarantee Clint has never seen a Rolodex in his life.
Listen, you know what? Honestly, he knows that's a term and he knows what it is, but his ass don't know what a Rolodex is.
I had my grandpa.
You have a Rolodex. Your grandma had one.
I did too. My grandpa had one.
But real quick, I know what you're saying, and it is awesome like that. Hank, real quick, before I lose you, I hope you're still here. Ken Pruitt put Bassmaster has a high school combine, kind of like the NFL combine. that will help. Registration is open. Check into that because I know a lot of the local younger guys, some of them went to that. And college coaches are there looking. And they're looking for talent and all that. So that's true.
The more events you go to, it doesn't matter if it's a high school, a college. And I just went to the ACA National Championship on Hartwell, and we had a booth set up with Yamaha. Like whatever events, fishing tournaments you can go to. I don't care if you're 6 years old or you're 12 or you're 18, about to go to college. Doesn't matter what the event is. Just go. Be around it. You might talk to one person that might know somebody in the industry, and that's one step closer to getting into college fishing.
100%.
You never
It only takes
how I
one.
found college fishing
Just
was
takes
going
one.
to the club fair at my college. The first day, freshman year, we had a club fair. Didn't know what tournament fishing even was at 18 years old, and I saw a bass boat, and I was like, "Oh, I like bass fishing." And I go up and I'm like, "Y'all fish against each other for turn?" I had no idea what it was. And I was hooked from then on. So it doesn't matter where you're at, how old you are, what geographic location you're in. There are pros from every single state in the country. You can find somewhere to go to figure out about bass fishing. Go to the Classic, go to an Elite Series event close to you, go to a BFL, an All-American, go wherever, because you can be around it. Hell, go into your local tackle shop and go bullshit with the guys, and you'll find a way to get involved in 100%, some type of fishing.
100%. You're right. I pull up Farmer because if I don't read a comment by Farmer, he's going to come in and he's going to mope and groan that he made this comment. He's going to make this comment. But he's right. Think about this. Current will always position fish. It's a big thing on the Tennessee River, any river system. Just don't think about it as much on Highland reservoirs, which is what we have here in North Georgia. And he's 100% correct. We don't think about – we do know, though, that on Lake Lanier, they pull most of the time through the week. On the weekends, they don't pull, or they don't pull as much. But he's got a good point that when you're thinking about Lake Lanier, Lake Allatoona, all that, you don't.
It's kind of like to me the points, and take it like ditch fishing in the wintertime. People think of ditches as just being like some deep cove that leads in where there's trees and houses on both sides.
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of those awesome ditches that look exactly the same, but they're totally underwater. Yeah,
for sure.
Right? So it works just the same as a ditch that has the sides out of the water. But if the sides are underwater, you still have the same ditch.
Yeah, you're right.
And the same thing with a point. It doesn't necessarily have to have a visual part of the point be on land, dry land.
Right.
You can have a point underwater that no part of the point ever goes above the water.
Oh, that makes
really important to understand how to read your maps.
Yeah, read your contour. You know what's funny about this show is he's sitting there, I'm going, yeah. I got to pee again so bad. I'm just like, yeah. All right, so listen. Good point, Farmer. Now, Nutsky's got a question.
I like it.
And I'm gonna read this question, and then you got to talk for a while. I go back to the bathroom again. This is how many shows do they get up and go pee on their podcast? We are just like family here. It's just like sitting in the living room.
Well, some of us are old, so that just happened
earlier.
Is that what you did? Was you in there taking a dump? I thought you was in there about Rachel Ray. No. All right, pull up, nuts. Okay. All right, so Clint, this is for you. On a fishery that isn't known for big spots, a 3-pound spot is big. Bless your heart. And on Lanier, we're throwing them things back. Are you wasting your time on brush piles, or do big largemouths get in them as well?
You're not wasting your time one bit. So doesn't matter what the fishery is, where the fishery is, what the bait fish are. There's going to be fish set up on those brush piles. Like when I lived out in Texas, a lot of the times, sometimes I was catching catfish and other trash fish off the brush piles, and then I'd catch a big cat, and then all of a sudden I'd catch like a 4 or 5 pound largemouth. So they do set up on brush. And you approach it similar, but if you're not on a herring lake, you're not quite doing the topwater fluke deal as much. You might be going for more of a big worm, a deep crankbait, a big jig, something more of that largemouth presentation. Throwing that big jig is one of the most fun things you can
regardless of whether people are BAS guys or MLF guys. Mm-hmm. One of the red crests was on Lake Eufaula in Alabama.
Yeah.
It was one on brush piles, and it was one largemouth.
Yep.
and it was won by throwing jerk baits around brush piles.
Yep, exactly.
So yeah, largemouth set up around them just the same.
We're gonna have to work on you because I'm in there peeing and I hear Clint and then you start talking.
I'm just a mild-mannered, low-key.
Well,
dude.
remind me when we do the float and fly episode with him, we're gonna have to up his mic. We're gonna have to do that. He's so soft spoken. Yard. Oh, first of all, Crankin' Yankin says I'm not as bad as Uncle Randy. We got to be careful here. Our Uncle Randy's going to call us out because he did a video last week fussing about podcasters talking about him. Did you see it?
I don't watch him.
He goes, these podcasters now, I'm just their target. Listen, Randy Blockett.
I did say I'd outfish him on Lake Lanier any day of the week.
I think you would too.
Randy's got it figured out. He knows how to make money on his.
Well, even that Randy Blockett, you put out good information on your fishing stuff. People are just tired of hearing you fuss about, but forward facing son up. But he's fighting a good fight and all that. Yard, right there. Are you looking for brush piles on river systems like Gunnersville or Chickamauga? Which that would have been a good one if Dave was here because Dave fishes Gunnersville a lot. I will say this. I can't answer that question, but I do know that when I fished with Dave on Gunnersville, when we went and filmed that episode of the Real American Road Trip, not one time did brush piles come into play. He was in flats with grass. He was in road beds. He was in, he talked about ledges and stuff. And Dave may be watching. I don't know if he is. He can do that. But we did not target brush piles on Gunnersville. That's not to say that it isn't done, but
the biggest thing is like, it depends on the fishery, but like Lanier, that's the primary thing you're going to be doing, or a herring lake, Highland reservoirs. Like that's the primary thing you're going to be doing is running offshore brush piles. Now, Gunnersville, there's so many other ways those fish set up. That's not the primary way to catch a winning bag of fish.
That's right. That makes sense.
You might get lucky and catch a couple on it, but then certain times a year you can find fish on brush and find a loaded brush pile, and you can catch a couple out of that brush pile, and that could change your tournament.
You can think of the brush pile as just being structure. When I say structure, if you go out,
I'm gonna squeeze you in the nuts to make you talk louder.
Okay.
Hey.
No, I wanted the other.
I feel like
part.
you got quieter.
You really want me to do that? Listen. Hey, no Brokeback Mountain here, baby. Ain't no Brokeback Mountain happening.
If you just think of a brush pile as structure,
yeah.
When the people are doing ledge fishing or whatever, the little points and the edges on the ledge,
right.
If it's got a stump on it, it's better than the ones that don't have a stump.
Yes,
on it.
yes.
And so you can think of a brush pile as very similar to just structure, right?
100%.
So
yeah,
gives them something to rub their bellies on.
That's
rub
correct.
their bellies on. I like the way you said that. Now, Cam, you said earlier you got home. Cam was up here right before the show, met all the guys. Glad you made it home. I don't trust anybody driving a motorcycle these days, so I'm glad you got it home. Jessica Keller. Jessica, appreciate you watching us tonight right there. How would you approach a tournament on a lake that you hadn't spent a lot of time on and don't have a lot of brush piles marked? Now, Clinton, they can give you the expert advice. I'm going to give you the newbie advice. If you're on Lake Lanier and there is a hump or there is a point, there's brush somewhere in the general vicinity.
There's more brush piles on Lanier and Hartwell than every other lake combined in my opinion.
Well, Altoona's got a bunch.
Altoona's got a bunch.
But my answer to that would be, think of where, if you were laying brush yourself, where would you lay your brush?
If you were going to a lake that you had never fished before, don't fish the entire lake. Pick a quarter of it, an eighth of it, or whatever, and just go work one little section of the lake. You may not do well the very first time, but go work one section of the lake,
right, and
figure it out. Regardless of what kind of electronics you got, even if you just got your standard 2D sonar, you can go over points over there and you can find the brush piles and you can figure out, oh yeah, look, all these brush piles are in 24 foot.
Yeah.
Right. But focus on one area of the lake.
I would say just, and again, I don't fish it as much as these guys do, but anywhere on Lanier that there is a point or a hump or something like that, even if all you got is 2D, if you scan around them long enough, you're going to find brush piles on every ledge, every hump. They might not be on the top of the hump. They might be on the edges. They might not be on the top of the point. Generally, I think Bill Payne said one time that he looks for them sometimes in 30 to. He likes the point or that comes out and has like a drop off. You know, kind of like a little mini ledge or something like that, and they're going to have them. So if I was going to a lake that I knew was kind of set up like Lanier or something like that, I'd find your points. I'd find your humps because you can get them on a map or on your card on your electronics, and you'll find the brush pile.
And another thing that you can do without forward-facing cranking and yanking is go look at the bank. A lot of the times on these like lakes like Lanier, you can go pull up on an island and you look at the bank and you see there should be a tree there. There's a weird gap in the foliage, and then you see, oh, there's a stump. Oh, there's some sawdust right there. There's a brush pile right off that point.
It has to be.
Somebody just drug it out. They chopped it down at night, the night before, and there's
used
a pile
to be
somewhere.
Yeah, you're right.
No names mentioned, but
You can mention names on here. It's a safe
the only
space.
time you'd used to pull brush into the lake was when it was raining, because that way you could go out there with your chainsaw and cut something down and nobody would hear it. Mm-hmm. But now we've got all these battery powered chainsaws. It doesn't really make a whole lot of noise.
Yeah, them things don't cut worth a damn anyway. Ken Pruitt said, and Jessica Keller. So like Ken is very knowledgeable. Map and side scan, and side scan, and it listen. You figure how many, and we're just taking Lake Lanier, but you could take Allatoona, you could take Hartwell, you could take all these lakes. You figure the amount of anglers on there and how anglers in their mind think. Like they're going to find your brush pile, and they're going, like we talked earlier, Clint, they're going to put theirs, you know, like Farmer says, use your maps. Most areas that have brush are extremely predictable. And you don't really, honestly, with today's technology, you don't have to lay brush. Now, you can go find the work that everybody else did. Now,
I've never laid a brush pile in my life.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
Never laid a brush. But now, again, you're going to find that a-hole sooner or later that's like, that's my brush pile. Stay off of it. And
there's a lot of brush. There's a lot of brush piles that, as we were saying, whether you want to call it map reading or whatever, if you go to a point that's got 27 brush piles on it, it's going to be probably hard to catch a fish out of one of those brush piles because there's too damn many down there.
Yes.
You want the point or the hump or whatever the location is that has that one single piece of structure, the isolated cover.
Yeah, make them
right.
come.
And that's what makes it hard. You used to be able to do that. You used to be able to go find them. Now it's not as easy to go hide your own brush pile because everybody has the ability to find it now. But those are the ones that are going to hold more fish, or the isolated brush piles.
Okay, Sean, you're right. I'm sorry. I saw your comment earlier, and like I said, I've not got comfortable in here. And by the way, anybody update me on the Brave score? It was 5-3 last I heard. PVC, artificial trees. Anybody got any thoughts on that? Because I see a lot of guys drop those things, but I find in my experience,
You catch a lot of crappie.
Yep. Your crappie guys love the PVC.
They're vertical.
They are vertical. Whereas we've talked about in Clinton, both of you guys said, the horizontal way one lays.
Yep.
That's probably a little more than that. 8-3, Anthony. Good Lord, the Braves. I tell you what, I need to manage the Atlanta Braves. I would either do that, or for $50,000, I could get up there and strike out as much as any of them. I'd be a hell of a lot cheaper, and I'd probably look good in the Braves uniform like that.
You would.
Thad
like
Moody.
Ham on the Sandlot.
Is that the fat kid?
The great
it's the
Hambino.
Is it, who's on Sandlot? Who's the skinny kid that tricked the girl into kissing him?
Alfalfa?
That's what. Listen,
that's Squints.
Yeah.
that is one of the best moves in all of movie. You know, that is one of the best moves I've ever seen. But that fat kid on Sandlot actually,
The catcher.
he took a bat for the in a Savannah Bananas game the other day.
Really?
He called his shot. He went up there. You know, he's a little older now. He called his shot and he popped up. Real world got him right there.
The Hambino.
The Hambino.
But back to PVC though, there are lakes where those artificial brush piles, fish attractors, whatever, do play. My buddy Ian Freeman lived on Lake Hickory forever. He grew up there, and we would go out, and that is a tough fishery. But a lot of the times in the summertime, we would catch them on those PVC piles. And the thing is they're all marked with a buoy.
Yep.
So we would just go run every single buoy we saw with one and try to stay as far off of. That was the biggest thing with those, was like those fish were so finicky. It seemed like they don't hold on to them as strong as they do a natural tree. Like they'll be around it. They won't really be down in it as much as they will on a regular brush pile. So you want to stay as far off as you can. So if you are on one of those lakes that has a buoy that says fish attractor, stay as far off of it as you can and just try to beam that buoy, and you can catch some fish.
That's a good point.
Some of them are marked on your mapping too, depending on what kind of mapping you
Yes,
have.
they are.
Okay.
But see, don't hold me to this as being 100% accurate.
Oh,
but
we're
it
going
used
to.
be.
We're going
It used
to.
to be that it's not illegal to sink brush. It is illegal to sink brush and not let the Corps know about it, because they want to mark it, right? And they also want to be able to make sure that it's in an appropriate position, right?
Yeah.
So you can go sink brush as long as you tell the Corps where you did it.
Yeah,
And that's the same kind of thing why you can't just cut a tree down off the side of the lake, because you create erosion and all the rest of it.
right.
You can get a permit to do it.
But right now the Corps they need to get some Rangers. They got their own set of problems right now. The Corps does. That's true. Let's see, what was it? So pull up Farmer's last comment. No, the one before that. I'm sorry. If you coat the PVC in egg whites, it will help pull the bait fish to them and will
That's
attract
the most farmer
bigger fish.
comment I've ever
That
seen.
is not. That is like the most Fannin County, Georgia comment out there. Egg
He's like,
whites.
dude, I don't eat egg whites, but hell, I put them on my piles.
But I tell you this: you want to bait up a brush pile? Take a can of dog food,
Poke some holes.
poke some holes in it, and drop it down in that
So
brush pile.
if you can't,
What's up, Paul B?
so if you can't fish in most tournaments with live bait or whatever, right? The fish are going to be attracted to the game fish are going to be attracted to bait fish. Well, one of the easiest ways to catch like spot tails on out Lanier is go out and throw saltines in the water, and then you cast net them. So why can't you go to a brush pile or something and throw saltines out there?
Because if they like my wacky worm, it'd take a year and a day to get down to that brush pile. But I understand what you do that.
Yeah.
Let's see. There was a comment. Lee Mo, pull up Lee Mo 58. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Right there at the top. Get a good, and it's Jessica Keller. I think this is in response to you. Get a good topo map, which was the old school way. Humps or points on Lanier will have brush piles. And I think that would be true on Hartwell, Allatoona, any of these lakes up there, because Lord knows there have been enough tournaments going on that you got these guys. And then you got the guys with the big ass treble hook on the rope. And they're like, somebody laid a brush pile in my area. I'm going to throw down and I'm going to move their brush pile.
Well,
It
some
gets
people
happen-
move.
happens
Some
a lot.
people move
Yeah.
their own brush piles.
Yeah.
Tournament night, they move your own brush pile to where somebody might have found it, but they go to fish, it's not there anymore.
Yeah. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Pull up T-Toms right there at the bottom, because we'll answer any question, T-Toms. Trying to get my foot in the door in bass fishing filming world. But as an audio engineer, any tips on how to network myself or my work with some of these guys or shows? You do social media for Yamaha. I'll let you answer that first.
Yeah. So the biggest thing is trying to get your foot in the door in the industry, in the community, is just kind of looking around and seeing what kind of content's getting put out, who's putting out the content, right? So like when I think of who in the bass fishing industry is putting out content, you have podcast guys. Well, the thing with podcasts is a lot of them don't necessarily need an audio engineer, but a lot of fishing shows do. So when you think about fishing shows, a lot of them have their guy or they subcontract out to different agencies. So you kind of want to start looking at some of these fishing shows. So Real American Road Trip or other fishing shows out there.
Oh, yeah.
Look at what they have and then go do some research, see what their team looks like, go on their website, see how many people they have on the crew, who all is out there doing this stuff. So like when I filmed Meat Eater, we had an audio engineer, Troy Hermes, great dude out of Atlanta. And like he was doing all kinds of different stuff he was doing that shoot with Meat Eater. He was doing a bunch of stuff in the music world. He was bouncing around doing kind of a little bit of everything, because it seems like as a freelancer in this industry, you kind of have to do a little bit of everything just to pay the bills. But just pay attention to like what is the current setup, who is actually using that, because as equipment has advanced, a lot of people can kind of DIY their way through having a podcast, through having a show, through having a YouTube channel, through film and fishing. And then think about other productions. I mean, JM Productions at Bassmaster has a giant team of audio engineers running the live feed, all kinds of stuff like that. So trying to get to actually get your foot in the door with these people. Once you identify what's going on, shoot them messages on social media, reach out, leave a comment on their recent post, figure out who is involved with that company. I've been doing that this week with trying to work on a partnership with Yamaha with another company. I'm like reaching out to the people in that company, those marketing groups, the guys that are filming their stuff to try to work out this partnership. I'm stalking through social media to find who is involved with this. So like, let's say I wanted to find out about Fish North Georgia, right? So I all of a sudden stumble upon the podcast. I'm like, okay, there's Danny. Let me go look at Danny on Facebook. Who's he friends with? Let's see. Okay, who else is involved in the show? Who does the actual show? Who's involved in this, and then start reaching out to them and just trying to see, like, networking is huge. Like, we all are one person removed from knowing the next guy in the fishing industry.
That's right.
Like, it is a giant industry, but like the amount of stories we all have of running into a random person in an airport. It's like, hey, I like your hat. Like, I love those guys. Those guys are cool.
Happens
or
all
whatever.
the time.
It happens all the time. So like reaching out, I mean, hell, shoot us a message. And I'll see shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll see if I can point you in the right direction, trying to find you something. I mean, there's still a need for it. It's not a forgotten thing. There's still a lot of it being needed out there. Go on LinkedIn, poke around on there, social media, put up a post in the Fish North Georgia group on Facebook. Maybe somebody will point you in the right direction. So, I mean, use social media to your advantage. Is a very powerful tool. We like to get caught up in the negativity of it, but let's promote it with positivity, like we're doing, trying to raise money. Like, let's help put you in the right places with the right people to find that opportunity. Because like, whether you're in college fishing, high school fishing, trying to find a job in the industry, trying to find a job outside the industry, trying to get a job with Serve IT, like whoever it is, like we're all connected in some way, shape, 100%. Or form. Like, let's use the community. You're here now, you're listening. Like, let's figure it out together. So hit us up. Let us know.
You always, because like Peyton Barrett Productions just said that, came by and visited the shop on Friday and got great beginner advice about fishing on Carter's Lake. I don't know about that. We tried to help you out the best we could. Great shop. Appreciate that. But absolutely, T-Tom's like, listen, like you can email me, Danny@fngo.com. I'll help you out in whatever way. I'll tell you this. This is how crazy this is. Clint reached out to us a long time ago because you were doing video work and all that. Said, hey, do you guys ever need video help and all that? And we didn't use you on the video side of things, but now you're on the podcast. It's just kind of the way it works. You got to get out there and reach out, and don't be afraid. You're going to get told no.
Yep.
You're going to get told
it's like
no.
fishing brush piles. You hit enough of them, you'll find one that bites.
I thought the reason that he was on the show is because he was winning too many of the weekly question things.
Listen, that is true. That's
what you're called getting your name out there.
But what you just said is 100%. Trey Crenshaw up there, Google Earth will show you some really good points. Trey came in the shop today. And what's funny is the best thing in the world to me is when a guy comes in the shop and says, I watch your show. And he goes, I comment. And now I can put a face and a human being with the name right there. And now I know that. But Trey, thank you very much for coming in here and all that.
On the mapping thing too, Google Earth's an awesome tool, but also like I saw somebody bringing up paper maps, and not to be the new school kid, but I spend $45 a year for my Navionics subscription. So like if I went to go buy 2 paper maps of Lanier and Hartwell, I'm going to spend about that.
About $20. It's not at the least.
Yeah,
at the least.
Exactly. And so like a Navionics plus subscription on your phone, get the app. Like it is, I use it every single day when I'm doing any type of map study for a lake. Like when I fished that 2 day on Kiwi, I'd never really been there. And I was like, okay, this point looks good. This point looks good. I was playing around with the contours. It gives you so many different options. Omnia Premium is another good app to use. Deep Dive is another good one. So like figure out which subscription makes the most sense. And like it is worth its weight in gold, especially if you don't have a lot of electronics on your boat. You can literally use your phone to get around the lake. Like I still do it in tournaments. I'll still have my Navionics pulled up and I'll do the go-to feature and I'll be like, okay, I want to get to this spot. This is my starting hole. And it'll tell you you're 11 miles away. You're going to burn 8 gallons of gas. And it's going to take you 12 minutes to get here if you're going 60 miles an hour. So like very valuable tools out there if you use them. And I think it's something that is very important. Is like, yes, you can spend money and go get a couple paper maps, but like you could spend the same amount of money and get so much more information. Like it has changed like in the industry, your access to information is huge. So just use that to your advantage.
100%. Bottom Line Outdoors. And yeah, Cranking and Yanking Meat Eater, I want to ask. Have you never watched Meat Eater?
Steve Ranella?
Steve Ranella, you need to go on Netflix and pull up Meat Eater. It's a great show. But pull up Bottom Line Outdoors. On my home lake, I use a crankbait, a 10-inch worm, and swim baits on brush piles. 100%.
Like you're fishing a largemouth lake, and that sounds like fun.
100% what you just said was like I was going, he's got to be on a largemouth lake. Yep. Fishing with Farmer. Drop what you're going to do with the boxes.
Skip Ken's up there.
Where's Ken? This explains why Rachel never called you back.
You know why she didn't call me back?
Why?
My name was smudged in her Rolodex, and she couldn't.
Smudged. Listen, Rachel Ray is cute, and God knows she can cook. But I
got too much pasta sauce on it.
But I love Amanda Pruitt. I love Amanda Pruitt. It don't matter. You're only on because Danny is trying to connect with Rachel Ray. No. She's a little too flat for me. Gotta have some.
What are you talking about?
Rachel Ray?
She's got a rack.
She does not have a rack.
She does.
No, not like my wife. You know who does have a rack? That girl on the AT&T commercials.
What?
Have you seen those pictures of her outside of the thing? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Lily, the AT.
Lily.
Girl.
Yeah.
Good night, boys.
She's Russian.
I don't care what she is.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just letting you know that.
Vladimir Mishka and you know, some, what is that the Russians drink? Vodka? Yeah, whatever. No, Amanda Pruitt's the best. Gone Fishing with Ed. Good evening, everyone. I'm late. Hell yeah, you are. But we appreciate you joining us. Anyway, yeah, Squirrel Farmer. Farmer wanted me to drop what we're doing with this boxes for the subscribers. We got a $49.99 thing, and what we've been trying to do is send out monthly boxes. But what we're going to do is we're going to start doing those quarterly so that you get a box at the beginning of each quarter to fish with for the next 3 months. And that's what we're going to start doing. It makes it easier. We put out one big box, and so you get that, and we give you that amount and value and all that. So if you guys are thinking about subscribing, you can subscribe to the channel and just support us because you like us and that I'm good looking. But anyway, but glad you're here. Bottom Line Outdoors. If you use Gurgler, hey, listen,
Yeah.
it's been a long evening right here. If you use Google Earth and go back in history when the lake was low, you can see some brush piles like on Sam Rayburn. You also, if you like fishing these electric only reservoirs, can go back in Georgia and you can watch them being built.
Yeah.
You can see them where the creek runs through and the trees are still up, see where they cleared it, and then just kind of watch that.
So like,
and Rayburn's putting out some bags right now.
Hell yeah, it is.
They are cranking and yanking,
yanking
paint off of them, son.
like
They are.
Altoona, they drop it, depending on the year, anywhere from 16 to 18 to 20 foot,
Mhm.
right? You can look historically and when the lake's low.
Yeah.
Lanier, they never drop it far enough to where you can really.
No, we need a drought.
Yeah, we
got to have a drought for you to do that.
What was it, 2019, 2020? When was it real low?
Oh,
real low, not that
well, it
long
was
ago.
in
You can see it on-
2012. I think
on-
it was real. Like 2012 is when we had that drought where you could see like the racetrack and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But he's right. Gone Fishing with Ed, because he shows up right at the end of the show. He's gonna get his comment in right there. I'm just messing with you. Fishing in the winter shows you so many spots you can't see in the summer on Lanier. Yes,
But they don't lower Lanier.
no. If you
No,
want to
no.
see Lanier, you gotta have a drought. You got to have
They
a
had it real low not that long. It was, I mean, it was like 9
like
or 10 for
Craftmaster
it.
said
Yeah.
2012, but that was like drought
But
induced.
I remember my buddy took off a lower unit going between Three Sisters.
You can, yeah. But like Allatoona is just stupid because they decide to not as stupid. I appreciate what the Corps does, but they lower it. But to be honest with you, if you see Allatoona in the wintertime, you're gonna see a bunch of damn rocks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Y'all got brush piles, but you got rocks
Yeah.
and rocks and more rocks.
People, you know, if you bury a brush pile on Allatoona that you can see it in the wintertime,
yeah,
odds are it's in the wrong place.
that's true. And listen, somebody about an hour and a half ago in the show, it just popped back up to me because I read these comments, said something about cities under Lake Lanier. And I totally,
And if the fishing's any good there, it was
if the
Sean.
fishing's any good, who was it?
Sean Widows.
Sean, okay, listen. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and put it out there for everybody in the damn world. Lake Lanier is not haunted, but it is not haunted. It has the curse of having too many idiots that get out there, have too much beer, that they either A, can swim to the island that they can't do, or they rent a pontoon or something like that and don't know what the hell they're doing.
Now, I'm convinced that there's not a single pleasure boater on Lanier that's taken a boater safety course.
100%. And I'm not against them doing it. It's a free country. They can do it, but that's Lake Lanier ain't haunted.
If you want to talk about a haunted lake, look up the history of Dale Hollow Lake.
Yep.
Dale Hollow Lake, there's a town under there, and it's still there. You can go drive over it. It's Lilydale, right?
Lilydale at the
Yeah.
bottom of Dale Hollow.
And when the water's down in the wintertime, if you're not careful, you can knock lower units off on the foundations of the school, right? They buried somebody under the steps of the school.
Yeah, but I don't get into all that ghost stuff.
Me either. I'm just
you
telling
know
you.
what?
but-
You can throw a deep crankbait on Lake Fontana. My buddy, so a buddy did it 2 years ago. He was deep cranking on Fontana and he hooked into something and he's like, "Oh, I'm hooked up." And then he's like, "Oh, I'm snagged on a stick or something." There's a skull. There's a human skull.
Let me tell you something. If one of them ancestors
That's
come up and
like
grabs me by the
that's
leg,
like
I'm gonna beat the
catfish
shit out of
story
him.
They'll swallow a Volkswagen.
Yeah, I heard
sounds
that when I
like.
was little.
Yeah.
Like,
But
I want to catch
no,
one
he
of
did.
them.
He had to call the police and everything.
Well, I
like,
get if you
before
pull
they-
up a skull.
Yeah.
If you, I get it. But like,
Yeah,
I,
Caddo's sketchy.
Yeah,
cranking in
I
there.
grew up, and all you ever heard was by Buford Dam, there was a chicken truck that fell over, and the divers went over and they were trying to who the hell goes and gets old chickens in Lake Lanier, but whatever. And there was catfish the size of Volkswagens in there, and they were going to eat you every time. And I'm like, when you're little, you believe that. And now I'm like, I'd like to hook into one of them son of a guns. I'd love to do that. So, but oh Lord, when I go live fishing on Lanier, it's all people talk about.
Yeah.
I get it. I get the pastor for Forsyth County. I grew up there. I knew about Booger Mountain. You ever heard of Booger Mountain? Booger Mountain was a place where supposedly they hung some people, and if you put your car in neutral, it would pull you uphill, and it was all spooky. We all did it in high school, but the truth is, if you go look at the contours of the land, the road is actually going downhill. It's all the surrounding stuff that makes it look like the road's going uphill. You get all these stories. Lake Lanier is not haunted. It does not have catfish the size of Volkswagens. There is no such thing as a lady in the blue dress, because if she's there, you guys are going to know about it. I'll let you know.
Many hours by myself past midnight on Lake Lanier, and I ain't never seen a ghost.
Never.
Never.
So look at Anthony Hampton's
Where's
comment.
Anthony?
Like third one from the top.
That one.
Yeah.
What's up, Jonathan Holcomb, 98? Most of the good brush gets dragged out deep before the winter drawdown.
That's what I'm talking about. People move their brush piles. If you're seeing it up in the wintertime, it's in the wrong place in the summer.
Yeah, they messed up. Let's see, gone fishing with Ed. Those divers seen those Volkswagen size catfish. Yeah, my ass. Because here's the funny part about Lake Lanier that nobody talks about. Those divers will tell you, if you go down 20, 25 foot, you can't see. It's so dark.
Yep.
But we grew up with those stories of these Volkswagen sized catfish and all that stuff. So it's funny. So fishing with Farmer, Lady of the Lake.
I do talk to the lady of the lake, though. She's my friend.
She's your friend?
She helps me out.
Does she help you out?
That's my superstition.
Do we need to check your little black book? You got a little black notebook, but pull up Farmer. Lady of the Lake needs to help me with finding out one of those Lanier 6-pound spots.
How you think I broke that 6-pounder? The lady
You
helped
and the
me
lady
out.
of the lake.
Yeah, she helped
Your
me out.
wife is not going to like that comment,
knows.
Alex.
She knows all
She
about
knows you and the lady of the lake are
Oh,
good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're good. How is it? Is it better than Rachel Ray?
Old Sydney, son.
Oh,
You ever seen
Sydney.
Ghostbusters?
I've seen
When he's
Ghostbusters.
laying in the bed and his belt starts coming undone?
That happens to you on the kayak. Listen, I don't know what to think about Alex all of a sudden. I thought he was a good dude. Now he's having virtual Alex. Alex, come on now.
No, she just helps me find them.
She helps you find
She
them.
makes them bite for me.
She makes them bite for you.
That's why I catch them all at night.
Yeah, I got that. Every lake in America, Paul B says, has a diver catfish with eyes as big as a headlight story.
And every Highland Reservoir lake around here has the same history.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, there's a town under every single one of them.
Yeah, and listen, and I hate the story of Oscarville. I realize what happened back in the day was bad. I understand it. But
The lake ain't haunted.
their lake ain't haunted. Steven Sturgeon. We could do a whole episode on haunted lakes.
Oh, yeah.
We could do that. Pull up, Steven. Our stories always included catfish that rolled up the windows on the Volkswagens.
Yeah.
They're multi-talented catfish on his things like that. So that's why all of Alex's pictures have a green
Yeah,
glow.
lady of the lake.
It ain't got nothing to do with you hitting them boat docks with them green lights. Now does it, Alex? So, all right, guys, with that, we've gone a couple hours like that. We've had a good time. We've talked a little bit about hell everything. So, brush piles, and I hope you got something out of it. You know,
Throw your $40 in the pot, boys.
Yeah, thanks,
that's the
Clint.
big thing.
Donate.
That's the big. If you just joined late, go back and watch the beginning of the show where we talked about where we're trying to help out a fellow angler, Ryan Veters, and his family. You can go back and watch it. So I won't rehash all the medical conditions, but I'm challenging everybody that watches this show or listens to it at a later date to donate. You can donate $5 if that's all you got. But $40, let's help this family out. We want to try to raise $35,000. You put on the Fish North Georgia group page on Facebook. You can go on it. You can see the link, the GoFundMe, everything.
I put both links up.
Both links for the tournament and the GoFundMe and all that.
If you enter the tournament, we've got some amazing raffle prizes going out. So even if you don't fish it, you might win something.
How about that? Grant Asaski, pull that up. Appreciate you doing that, Sean. But pull up Grant. Been listening and watching this show for years and just now realized Clint is Clint Bartlett. I always thought he was some 60-year-old good old boy in overalls up in Somerville.
Maybe at heart, buddy. Maybe at heart.
There you go. And Sean, listen, in a tournament like this, it doesn't matter where you place. You're doing it for a good cause. All right, guys. So now, listen, I'm headed out of town. So Thursday, I'm headed to Puerto Rico. I'm going to be gone from the from the 5th through the 14th. So Tony Collum is going to be running both Thursday night shows. Clint, you're going to run next Tuesday night show?
Yes, sir.
So the show will go on despite me, the least knowledgeable person on here. I'll be out of town. I'm going to be chasing peacocks and drinking pina coladas in Puerto Rico. So doing a little filming for the Real American Road Trip. So you guys make sure you come back. I appreciate you joining us tonight, Mr. Soft Talker. Like that. By the time we do the fishing fly, we're going to get you just light as I am.
Okay.
We'll do that. Alex, you did a good job. But again, I appreciate your emotion with helping your buddy out.
Thank you.
Very sincere, and I appreciate that. And Clint, of course, as always, I enjoy you being on there. Just
Yeehaw.
doing what
T-Tom's
you-
hit me up. I will try to find you some audio jobs.
Yeah, I will have a blast, dude. Hey, listen, I'm going to have fun in Puerto Rico. But if you guys see me on the evening news, start working on bail money. Support the Ryan Veters thing first. Make sure you take care of him. And then y'all start getting
Hashtag free Danny.
Hashtag free Danny, baby. Going to Puerto Rico. So we love you guys. We appreciate you. We will see you on the next one. And you guys be safe out there. Talk to you later.